questions, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
Hello, everybody. This is Dr. Sam on a Thursday afternoon, and we are broadcasting live from Riverside Chevrolet on 231 in Wetumpka. Reason being is we are going to paw it forward. Now, what does that mean? That means that we are helping out the River Region Humane Societies, and we are asking for food, we're asking for treats, we're asking for blankets if you have some. Maybe your dog passed away or something, you're looking for a new animal. Please make sure, by all means, that you either go to the Wetumpka or the Prattville-Autauga or the Montgomery County Humane Society. They have a beautiful selection of animals right now, and they'd love to get them, obviously, adopted. So please, by all means, help out the River Region Humane Societies by donating food or donating some treats, anything along that line. They would appreciate it. They have a capacity crowd right now, as a matter of fact, in the shelters. Come see us right here at Riverside Chevrolet. I'll be glad to help you unload it.
At Guardian Credit Union, it's not just about the dollars and cents. It's about relationships. If you want it, so do we. Need more adventure? So do we! Look forward to escaping the ordinary?
So do we.
Want to sharpen your skills in the kitchen?
So do we.
Want your kid to stick with music lessons?
So do we.
I think they got it, guys.
So do we.
Federally insured by NCUA. Equal Housing Opportunity. NMLS 912757.
Woohoo!
Hear that? That's what having fewer hot flashes and night sweats can sound like. Veoza is the #1 prescribed hormone-free treatment FDA approved for moderate to severe vasomotor symptoms, also known as hot flashes and night sweats, due to menopause. Veoza can cause serious side effects, including liver problems. Your doctor will do blood tests before and during treatment. Stop Veoza and call your doctor if you have symptoms of liver problems, such as feeling more tired than usual, decreased appetite, nausea, vomiting, itching, yellowing of the eyes or skin, pale stool, dark urine, or stomach pain. Don't use Veoza if you have cirrhosis, severe kidney problems, kidney failure, or take CYP1A2 inhibitors. Ask your doctor about Veoza. To learn more, call 1-866-239-1637 or go to veoza.com. That's VEOZAH.com.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
After damning politicians uphill and down dale for many years as rogue, vagabond, frauds, and scoundrels, I sometimes suspected, like everyone else, I often have too much of it.
Death to America, except for Joey.
Joey Clark.
Welcome into the program. I'm your host, Joey Clark. Another hot and humid day here out of Montgomery, Alabama. Looks like we got some actual spending cuts passed. The United States Senate actually passed something for once. Both Alabama senators joining in on the $9 billion DOGE rescission package. We'll get into the details of that in just a moment. Pam Bondi, taking a break from Epstein, announces plans to reopen Alcatraz, and Nancy Pelosi is losing her mind, though I call fake news. She lost her mind years ago. There are 10 Republicans, including Senator Britt, asking the OMB director, Russ Vought, to release billions in education funding. So don't cut that. Don't hold that, Mr. Vought. We need that, even here in deep red Alabama. And I've been teasing this for days. I don't know if I'll get to it, but how creatine became so popular with women. Or is it women? I don't know. Welcome into the program. Joining us, as she does at the start of the show on Thursdays, we have Erica Thomas, editor-at-large at 1819news.com. Erica, how you doing today?
Howdy, Joey. I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm all right. You one of the ladies that likes to throw a little creatine down as a supplement?
Never. Nope, never did that. I do put some powder supplements in my iced coffee every morning, but that's just basically a vitamin supplement along with collagen. So
there you go. Yeah, and I've done creatine, and it does make you gives you energy and focus more, but it also puts on water weight. You get all bloated and stuff, and some people like because muscles pop or whatever. I don't know. It's a whole thing. We don't have
us women have enough water weight. We don't need to add any more to that. So I'm going to steer clear of the creatine. Also, I don't like anything that gives me too much energy because it'll make my heart beat too fast. Any little thing that I do like that, I can't drink like a Monster Energy drink, which I have. I used to do it all the time, but now if I do it, it almost gives me anxiety. So
yeah, I've cut way back myself. And sticking on this whole like medical kick, you have a story from I guess a couple days back. I believe it came out Monday. Ozempic, Mounjaro, similar weight loss shots causing increase in overdoses. This is according to UAB. How do you overdose on this stuff?
Yeah, UAB did this study, and what's really interesting to me is they looked at cases between 2016 and 2021. But I don't know about you. I feel like since 2021, these Ozempic for weight loss injections have really skyrocketed more than that. So the actual number is probably a little higher than these overdoses that they're looking at. But they say you can overdose different ways. Usually the patient is actually injecting themselves with these. So, not being a medical professional, it would be more likely that could happen. And the way they overdose mostly is because they take the injections too early. It's like once a week or once a month. Maybe they're feeling like they want to lose a little more weight, so they do it a little early, and that's pretty much what causes this, it appears. But the good news is the overdose symptoms are really very minimal. In fact, sometimes people don't even realize they've overdosed. You don't know until you get the labs back. But there are some adverse effects that can happen, such as an upset stomach, weakness, and abdominal pain. So you don't want to overdose on these. It's not going to do you any good to do that. It's not going to make a difference. You just need to stay on the schedule and be sure to speak with your physician if you have any questions about how to inject yourself and when.
Well, and you're right. These aren't the most notable symptoms, especially if you're already in a position where you're taking one of these GLP-1 drugs. I'd imagine you're already used to upset stomachs, a little bit of weakness and abdominal pain. And it's like, well, that's just how I felt before. What's the difference? But I don't know. I've never taken these. Apparently, they have a new one coming out that not only causes fat loss, but actually increases muscle gain, especially when you do resistance training. They've done a test in monkeys, and it's pretty remarkable that we're going to have a bunch of people walking around like underwear models, and a lot of it's going to be these probably cocktail of drugs. Seems like cheating.
I guess I'll be left out. I think I never wanted to take these because I heard the reason people lose weight is because it just kind of helps them lose their appetite. And I love food so much. I just want to eat all the time. I want a shot where I can eat all the time. It's going to make me want to eat, and then I don't gain weight. And especially, I always say on holidays, like calories and fat, they don't count. Everything's fat free and calorie free. But I just want to eat, drink, and be merry. And I feel like we really put too much stress on ourselves. Obviously, it's important to be healthy, and I definitely don't agree with the big is beautiful rhetoric. But eat what you want, just in a good portion. Watch your portions and stay balanced. Let's just all be natural and happy.
Oh, yeah. No, and there might be some folks like, I'm eat whatever I want all the time. I don't care if I die early. I'm a free American. Yeah, I have every right to do that. So
go for you, but I have the right to say that's not pretty.
No, I agree. Now, I'm looking at a restaurant in Foley. I don't know if it was tied in with the same investigation. Of course, in these parts, we're talking about that massive raid. on multiple Mexican restaurants, but it looks like a downtown Foley barbecue restaurant. It's a Colt Grill Barbecue and Spirits in Foley. They were raided as well as part of money laundering and human smuggling. My God.
Yeah, now this was on the same day as the Mexican restaurant raids, but this is a completely separate investigation. This is an investigation by Homeland Security. The Gulf of America Task Force was not involved in this one. It's actually a 3-year-long investigation, and the Colt Grill is based out of Arizona, where they have several restaurants, but they decided last year they would come into the city of Foley and renovate this old dilapidated building in downtown Foley. They took it from just a crumbling old building to a beautiful space. They renovated inside and out. The facade was great. It's beautiful now, because before it was like a boarded up building. So now that facade is gorgeous. But what we didn't know is what federal investigators say the facade was also that they were doing legitimate business, but apparently they're saying now they were not. They're actually money laundering. There was several allegations in this Homeland Security investigation, and even the Foley Mayor Ralph Helmick said, "We're not going to tolerate any kind of crime, especially in our Foley business area." So while they were so excited celebrating just a year ago this beautiful new building and restaurant, now they're saying not worth it.
Daggum. Well, and it seems like a lot of law enforcement activity sticking on this crime beat. It looks like there was another bust in Enterprise, finding a bunch of drugs, money, and guns.
Yeah, and I want to remind people with these investigations, with these raids, everyone is considered innocent until proven guilty. We have to remember that, because a lot of times we say, well, the police said it. That doesn't mean that they're guilty. They still have the right to go through that process. So I want to just remind people about that. I think it's important. But yes, there was another arrest in Enterprise, and I also want to remind everybody all the details on this are available on 1819news.com. You can go to the stories and see all of our stories, but if you want to click on my stories in particular, just find my name, click on that, and you'll see all my stories. So this story, this particular one out of Enterprise, police say they arrested a man after they executed a search warrant at the home where he was. Trey Satchel, he's 34 years old. He's charged with second-degree possession of stolen property, multiple drug charges, because they said they found marijuana and cocaine. But the whole reason they were doing the search warrant was in connection to a robbery case. So we might see some more charges come down the pipe. But for now, Satchel is in the Coffee County Jail, and again, considered innocent until proven guilty.
And now shifting over to Birmingham, I know this story went quite viral. Pretty straightforward, though, but a Michigan high school is asking for prayers after one of its football players was shot and injured while in Birmingham for a training camp. And apparently this didn't happen at the training camp, but it was there in Birmingham.
So we're hearing that officials are saying Ethan Carter, who is from Hudsonville High School, which was here for this football camp, or in Birmingham for the football camp, he was trying to buy something online, so he went on Marketplace and found something, went to meet up with the guy, and then he got robbed and shot. And he got shot several places. It said his body, neck, hand, arm, and chest. So he suffered a few gunshot wounds, but miraculously he survived. They took him to, I believe it was UAB, but they said actually they think that he will make a full recovery, and he plans to go back to playing football. So we'll see what happens. But it's definitely a warning to people, when you're meeting somebody on Facebook Marketplace, be sure to do your research, be safe, be vigilant, and maybe go to one of these Marketplace meetup places at a police department. I know they have several in the Birmingham Metro, so there was definitely options there. Don't go alone, and just be smart about it.
And now, again, a lot of crime stories, folks. Back to the Gulf of America Homeland Security Task Force. You report on this, I believe, on Monday. But it was multiple people indicted as a result of a long-term investigation of cockfighting and gambling in Bluntsville. Oh man, that had to be a gnarly scene.
Yeah, I was thinking like a Joe Dirt type scene when I read this. They kind of explained in the press release what cockfighting is and how that works. But I think everybody here in Alabama knows exactly what that is. You're putting up big money for your rooster to win a fight, and they put the spurs on him. It's very brutal because the winner is basically the one that kills the other rooster, or the other rooster just gives up, and it's just awful. It's awful to do. Then people come and they bet on which rooster's going to win. It's terrible to know that this still goes on, but this apparently was a pretty big operation because people were paying up to $1,000 to enter their rooster into the cockfight. Kind of crazy. And then people would come to watch and pay $40 each just to watch.
Man,
I mean, that's just crazy to me. But yeah, they arrested multiple people, and their names are listed in a story on 1819news.com. Most of them were charged with conspiracy to violate the Animal Welfare Act and the prohibition on illegal gambling business. So, again, innocent until proven guilty, but this was a pretty intensive investigation. And typically when law enforcement does these investigations, they embed a undercover agent in to actually get this stuff on recording. So that's probably something along the lines of what they did. They probably have pretty stiff evidence against these people.
Yeah, and by the way, folks, if you go to 1819news.com and click on Erica Thomas's name, you're going to see a lot of these stories. And I'm just scratching the surface because it seems like you're, at least recently, you're covering a lot of the crime beat just all around the state.
Yeah, I've basically been put on that, like public safety crime, big crime stories. We're not going to do little, some little robbery or something, but we want to definitely hit on the big issues that are happening in Alabama with crime. We have some hot spots in our state. Montgomery is definitely one of them. So, and Craig Monger does some of these stories too. He does a great job covering the crime in Montgomery and kind of how officials have attempted to deal with that crime, whether it's working or not. It's hard to see. Some agencies say it is, but then we see, multiple shootings in one day like we did a few days ago. So Craig definitely in the Montgomery area is covering that, but I'm also covering stuff here and there that people in Alabama care about, things they want to see.
Now, before I let you go, do you have any words of wisdom, insights, hot takes, if you will, on the whole Jeffrey Epstein thing?
I mean, I think it's very disappointing to see that these people who promised or said they were going to, put all this information out are now trying to be like, oh, don't worry about it. Nobody cares about that anymore. We do care about it. But it's interesting, too, how the dynamic is changing, Democrats versus Republicans. They always use the same stuff against each other. And it's like you were just saying before that you wanted this. Now it's like it's turned into a political circus. And that's unfortunate. This is really creating polarizing effects within the Republican Party as well. The shame that this ever happened. And does this list exist really? I think it did. I think it does. And why they're just hiding it, I don't know. But I think it's a shame again that, it's caused a rift between people within their own parties. And it's so funny to see Democrats that are like, oh, release it. Well, the Biden administration didn't release it either.
Right.
So, and they probably had more control over that when it was fresh evidence. And also, another thing that's interesting to me is the several minutes of the video that are missing because of the timestamp. You see, the night before Epstein died, you see there's like 2 or 3 minutes of surveillance video from the jail just missing. And Pam Bondi's saying, well, this is because of the overlap into the next day. It just does this. That just doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand how that would be missing.
Yeah, it just screams of cover up. And there's so much evidence that was collected when they raided his place in, I think, Manhattan. I mean, hours and hours of videotapes, a lot of different documents. And it's not like, oh, we just need a straight up list. Like, what happened to all this material?
Yeah.
And some are speculating that there was a poison pill put in there that makes Trump look really bad while it was in custody, say, of the Democrats. It seems to be how Trump's acting. Some are wondering, no, is this more a national security implication that could implicate our government or foreign governments, and particularly the Five Eyes, including the UK, Israel, all the intelligence groups that we work with. And where I'm sitting here now, they say, pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. I'm like, I want to look, I want to peek. I want to peek behind the curtain.
Exactly. It makes it worse when they tell you what you don't care about anymore. Yes, I do. Actually, you just renewed my care. In fact, I was really just over the whole thing for a while. Like I had Epstein fatigue, just kind of did let it go. But now you're telling me that, I'm going to care a little bit more. And I hate being told what to care about. Like that, when I'm told as a reporter, oh, it's nothing. Well, my red flags go up and I instantly think it's something, because 9 times out of 10, that's the case. And everybody says, oh, there's some conspiracy on this or that. Usually where there's smoke, there's fire.
Well,
there's definitely a reason.
And it's not going away. I think it's going to stay in the zeitgeist. And I don't know if you caught Shane Gillis's opening monologue of the Espys. He actually brought humor and some entertainment to the Espys for once. But let's listen into this joke real quick for those who haven't heard it.
Actually, there was supposed to be an Epstein joke here, but I just got deleted. Must have probably deleted itself, right? Probably never existed, actually. Let's move on as a country and ignore that. The New York.
Gotta love Shane Gillis. And it's stuff like that where I'm noticing the folks that aren't Republicans through and through. Like if you're a Republican, you're still backing Trump. But the folks that maybe voted for Trump or in his camp for the 2024 cycle that aren't traditional conservatives or Republicans, I don't know how long you're going to hold them with stunts like this.
Well, I definitely respect the MAGA base for, the just pure loyalty that they have with President Donald Trump. And obviously, I think President Donald Trump's done amazing things. He's a great president. He does a lot of good things. But to kind of say you have to support him no matter what, and you have to agree with every single thing he says is just crazy. Like, you don't have to agree with everything he says. There can be things that, you look at as controversial that he does or things that he says, things that his administration is doing. That just is what it is. We, as Americans, do not have to hold loyalty to anybody. And so that's what we have to work with. Fortunately for Trump, he doesn't have to worry about another election, so I'm pretty sure he'll just say or do whatever he wants at this point.
Yeah, the good, the bad, and the ugly of that, not having to run again. Well, I appreciate your time, Erica. If folks, again, want to check out what you're writing about, thinking about, working on, how can they do so?
Well, definitely head over to 1819news.com and see all the stories that all our amazing reporters do. You can follow me on X at Erica T News, and you can also email all of us, news@1819news.com.
Appreciate it, Erica. Talk again next week.
Thank you. God bless.
Again, Erica Thomas, editor-at-large there at 1819news.com. One interesting theory being kicked around with Trump and this whole Epstein thing is that actually this is a big rope-a-dope to a distraction to then say, well, okay, let's put out the credible stuff. In fact, Trump has said that, now kind of backing up. Well, Pam Bondi should put out all the credible stuff. And you got John Solomon of Just the News interviewing Trump, asking him, well, why don't you just appoint a special prosecutor? And so when I first saw, for instance, they're going to go after John Brennan, former head of the CIA. They're going to maybe go after James Comey. They just fired James Comey's daughter who was the one that just headed up the case on Diddy and on Ghislaine Maxwell involving the Epstein thing. That woman, and they haven't given clear reason why they fired her other than her last name's Comey. So if I hear about like, okay, John Brennan, they're going to maybe bring an indictment against that guy for what he did with the whole Russia hoax. My first thought is, if you bring that in Washington and D.C., bring an indictment like that in Washington, D.C., then you're never going to convict Brennan of squat. These folks up there, especially in the district, are thick as thieves. But what if you gave a very broad mandate to a special prosecutor in Florida? Take it to Florida. Some in the wild dreams of this was all the plan all along is make Matt Gaetz your special prosecutor. And don't just have him go after Brennan. Have him look through all the Epstein stuff as well. Have him look through all the weaponization of government, all the sensitive stuff in government. And maybe this is just a predicate, one willing to upset a lot of the base, and a lot of folks who voted for Trump in 24 to get the ball moving. Have the folks demand something instead of you just tapping somebody to be special prosecutor. Oh, well, y'all demanded it. How about we'll just settle all that there? Now, we've seen this before. We've seen this show before, special prosecutors, special counsels. It takes forever. So it's still not that exciting. And honestly, that's just another theory floating around online. Who knows what the next shoe to drop might be? But again, the story isn't going away. It's in the culture now. And especially a great, say, barometer. They don't have power, but they're just great ways of signaling where the wind is blowing in terms of American culture is look at the comedians and their podcasts. And almost every single person is like, I don't believe this. And they're making jokes, incredible jokes. In fact, the whole Tim Dillon rant on this was one of the funniest things I've ever seen, but also incredibly insightful. I think the average bear, especially that skews younger, that isn't a traditional Republican who might have voted for Trump in 2024, is looking at this going, well, more of the same. More of the same. Like, we'll get a lot of good things going, but I'm not that excited about tax cuts and all this other stuff. That gets Republicans excited, and Trump's numbers with Republicans have actually gone up. CNN just reporting on that. So if you're a Republican and Trump's calling for this essentially loyalty test, like trust the plan here, a lot of Republicans are saying, sir, yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. President. But is it enough to just have the Republicans in the MAGA base when it comes to the midterms? Or do you need that broader swath of the culture that doesn't fit neatly into the old institutional boxes that is driving the car more and more as we head into the future? It's going to be interesting to watch. Let's go to line 2 on 272-9228 if you want to call in. You're on there. Who's this?
Papa B.
Hey, Papa B, how you doing?
I'm doing okay. So I've had a minute to think about this, and I guess I'm like a lot of folks. I'm like, we got to trust him no matter what. And then, you're mad because we don't trust you type thing. And we really want to see this list. I mean, we've been led to believe that this is like, a way to clean everything up. And I got to say, like I said, I've had a minute to think about it. And so I think we have seen this movie before. Mm-hmm. Okay. If we just look at the nature of the people that Trump and really the country have to deal with, and you see how nefarious they are. You see what disinformation specialists they are and how they, try to, create all kind of narratives and traps and things like that. I mean, what if Pam Bondi's right? What if all they're left with is a bunch of videotape from a prison and hours upon hours of child porn?
Right.
What if she's telling the truth?
Or what
You
if
know?
they sullied the evidence? Like they put so much fake crap in there that it's really you can't make sense of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then Dershowitz, of course, he's out there saying, no, they've got it all. And there are two judges in New York that have, sealed all these files to where, Trump can't get to them. Pam Bondi can't get to them. That's another branch of the government. We have three branches of government. Trump can't just go and do what he wants to with these judges. They have to, follow the law. And so would a special prosecutor be able to? Yeah. It takes some time, though.
Yeah.
And time is something that, we don't really want to spend. We've spent enough time knowing about all this kind of stuff, and we really want to see people go to jail. But that's just where we are. What if Trump is right and they've so corrupted what little evidence is left that you really can't tell anything from it? What if he's right? What if he's telling the truth? And I think he probably is. The other thing is this. Look, you remember, you kind of got to look at what Trump does.
Mm-hmm.
And a case study, if you'll bear with me a moment,
sure,
is, there, for instance, at the the big phone call between Zelensky and Trump.
The perfect phone
what
call.
A deal.
It was perfect.
Yeah, that's right. What a deal. Nancy Pelosi and Watermelon Head, Adam Schiff were making of it. Oh, he did something wrong. Yeah, and then finally, Trump just stayed silent. He just let them come at him, swing at him, keep swinging. And then they brought charges. Oh, this is impeachable. So they, had their articles of impeachment up there. And then Trump all of a sudden said, wait a minute. We just found the transcripts. And it shut them down flat. That's how Trump operates.
Sure.
And so I got to tell you, I'm feeling a little bit for Trump right now. When he says that, it's like he's frustrated at people that don't see it all of a sudden. We've been through this before. We've seen it before. And people that just carte blanche want to throw Trump under the bus are like just ingrate. They're kind of just like, good night. What has the man got to do to prove to you that he's above board and he's acting in your best interest? He's been shot at twice. They've tried to kill him more than that, if you believe the report. Impeached twice with false charges, all kinds of stuff. And all of a sudden, he's telling you there's nothing there but a bunch of corrupt evidence, and you want to just take him out to the center square. Come on now.
Well,
he's not that stupid.
I think there are people like that. I think, though, the vast majority of people are like, I know you're lying to us, and your explanation is just insulting of our intelligence, and you're really disappointing us. It's not just the literal facts of the Epstein case. The Epstein thing is a symbolic thing of the populist moment in this country, that the elites get away with stuff, that they are untouchable. They operate in the shadows, and no matter who we elect, we thought we had our guy, they get away with it. And I think unless all that stuff you just laid out that I was also suggesting comes to pass down the road, that's what I think people are going to walk away feeling from this. But again, the Republicans, his support's going up. So it's not like he's losing the base, even despite some of the harsh words he had on True Social the other day. I think he's losing, though, a crucial portion of the culture that isn't traditional Republican that he also brought to the table in 24. And he just needs to be mindful of that. And we'll see. We'll see if he does have, some trick up his sleeve. He's playing some game here.
For the moment. And, when people play games with you, you have to play games with them. And, all of the stuff that's been going on, people have been playing games. Trump does the same, but look at what's happening right now. All of a sudden, all of the Democrats are all in. Yeah, we got to see the files. Dang it, bring the files out. And so what they really want is what he's got right now, which is nothing. They really don't want the real files to come out now. Don't want the real files. Don't want to see the real truth. They just want to see what has been edited and corrupted.
Right.
Because they know that Trump doesn't have anything right now. So just give it time is all I'm saying to everybody. Let Trump do what Trump does, and I believe it's going to all work out, but it is going to take a little bit of time.
But I got to hit a break here, but I got to confess something.
Okay.
I'm still slightly a little smarting from the fact that you called me a Nietzschean at the beginning of the week. I'm just kidding. That was hilarious.
Yeah. All right.
Appreciate
well,
it.
have a good one. Yeah.
272-9228. This part of the program brought to you by Josh and Leslie Ryder there at Dillon Rings. And at Dillon Rings, they are a full-service jewelry shop ready to help you with any and all of your jewelry needs. Could be you need to get something repaired. You need to get something cleaned up with a beautiful spa treatment. Could be you want some custom design work. Well, Josh Ryder is the best at that. The guy really is an artist, really incredible at what he does. And of course, they are always highlighting, say, birthstones for each month and the things they can do for you. Of course, the birthstone for this month, for July, is the ruby. And rubies have long been associated with blood. This is on the Dillon Rings Facebook page. Among Burmese soldiers, it was believed that wearing a ruby on the left would make the wearer invincible. This belief was so strong that some soldiers inserted rubies into their flesh under the skin. They then were believed to be safe from wounds and were said to be fierce, very fierce indeed, in battle as well. So it's always interesting to hear about the lore and, say, the myth surrounding these precious gemstones. But, of course, I'm looking at a pair of ruby earrings, also encrusted with diamonds all around. Absolutely beautiful. This is the sort of stuff they have there. Say you want to get that July birthstone for somebody special, somebody you love, somebody that wants you to just do for them, not just wait for you to ask. You know what I'm talking about, men. You've heard the wives talk about this. Hey, just surprise her. Unexpected gift, unexpected time. Dillon Rings can help you out. So stop by today. That's 119 Brown Springs Road here in Montgomery, just off of Atlanta Highway, and be sure to tell Josh and Leslie Ryder that Joey, that fellow on the radio, sent you.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
I'm Jim Smith with Adams Drugs, and what our customers say about our business is the most important advertising tool. I'm here with Ronnie Taunton, who is a longtime customer of Adams Drugs, moved away for 3 years, and came back to town recently. Ronnie, how easy was it to move your business back to Adams Drugs?
Jim, it was very easy. All we did was make a phone call to the store in Prattville. That's where we live now, and they took it from there, and I didn't do anything else.
What has your overall experience been like here at Adams Drugs?
Well, we are glad to be back with Adams. We've had quite an experience in some towns we lived in, and they have great service. You can tell that the employees are glad to be there to serve you, and I couldn't ask for any more. Whatever formula the Vinson family has, they need to keep it in a safe place because it's certainly working.
Come in to any of our 12 Adams Drugs locations. Visit us at adamsdrugs.net to find the location nearest you. Adams Drugs is your independently owned Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, taking the time to listen and care.
The Tierce family has been your local Roto-Rooter service since 1964. Drain cleaning, plumbing repair, and those troublesome septic tanks, no problem. Technology has changed a bit in the last 54 years. Video inspections of lines to locate problems is available, as well as scheduling your appointment online. River Region residents have trusted Roto-Rooter for over half a century. You can too. Call today at 272-7130 or visit online at rotorooteralabama.com.
Call Roto-Rooter, that's the name, and away go troubles down the drain. Roto-Rooter.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
Hi there, I'm Madeline Cannon with Alabama Home Mortgage. Getting pre-approved is the first step towards home ownership. People are often scared or nervous about taking that first step, but I'll tell you, it's nothing to be scared of. At Alabama Home Mortgage, we will take the first step and every step along the way with you. Call us at 567-4223. We will gather the information needed, to tell you exactly what you qualify for. After a call to Alabama Home Mortgage, you will know what price point to shop for, what down payment is required, if any, and what your monthly mortgage payment will look like. We take all the guessing out of it. Then, when you find the house you want to make your home, you are ready to make an offer. Along with your offer, you will submit your Alabama Home Mortgage Pre-Approval Letter. This shows sellers that you've already taken the steps necessary to ensure that you qualify to purchase their home. Wait no longer. It's time to take that first step together. Call me at 567-4223 or start the process online at myalabamahomemortgage.com.
That's Alabama Home Mortgage because, folks, there is a difference in mortgage companies. NMLS 1586-36-8, Equal Housing Lender.
Join us tomorrow from 11:30 to 12:30 at Amy's Antiques, 849 Northeastern Boulevard for our Paw It Forward Pet Drive. Drop off your pet shelter supplies to help the River Region Humane Societies.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network, brought to you by Montgomery Paint and Body. From little fender benders to total body repair, MPB will fix it good as new, maybe better. For 4 decades, the Turner family has been getting you back on the road. Call 279-7325.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. Our weather app will keep you on top of the action with radar and future radar today as we track some storms moving across the area, especially in the afternoon and evening hours. A little more plentiful today and tomorrow. Otherwise, a sun and cloud mix, very hot with highs in the low to mid-90s, triple-digit heat indices again, lows at night in the muggy mid-70s, and not much change over the weekend. More scattered, random afternoon and evening storms around. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
You can make your ASE loan payment from your phone anytime, anywhere. It's quick and easy. YourASECreditUnion.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal Opportunity Lender.
ASE Credit Union. Your life, your cause, your ASE.
News and talk without the static. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. I really do love that Shane Gillis brought some actual comedy to the Espys. And you're seeing this more and more of, say, the Disney Corporation, all their different companies and front-facing ventures. They're all leaning more into, the podcast world, into the comedy world that is so popular these days. This was probably my favorite joke of the night. Where he fools the audience. Let's listen in real quick.
4-time WNBA All-Star Brittany Hicks is here. Give it up for Brittany, everybody. I'm joking around. That's my friend's wife. I knew none of you knew WNBA players. That's crazy.
And I watch those guys' podcasts all the time. So to see his buddy laughing there with the wife, you gotta love Shane Gillis, man. Let's go to line 1 and talk to Duke. Hey, Duke, how you doing?
What's going on, man?
Just getting through the day.
Yeah, everything's good?
Yeah, life's good. I think got Councilman Andrew Szymanski stopping by here at 1 o'clock hour.
Oh, okay. But I was on hold when you was on the phone with Papa B.
Mm-hmm.
That did something to me right there. I got to pray for him harder. I've been praying for him, but it ain't coming through for some reason. And what I need to do, George?
Are you looking for a particular outcome, or you just want to?
I got on my knees. I ain't gotten on my knees and prayed for him yet, but if I need to get down on my knees and pray for this young man, he's lost, man. I'm talking about, I never seen another man in love with another man like this man in love with this other man. This man can't do no wrong, and he never told people before that if y'all keep talking about this, y'all just stupid, and I don't want you on my team anymore. He just hurt everybody's feelings and stuff, and he's in a bad place. I'm just worried about Papa B right now. Joey, come on, help me out there.
He didn't seem as down and out and as sorry as you're laying it. I think you're being
I'm reading through all of it, though. I'm just reading through the overall review of him. He just, at the end of his statement, he said, George, just give him a chance. Just believe in him. Just trust him. But anyhow, though, George, everybody doing okay, man?
Yeah, no, life's good. But, hey, you got to give credit where it's due. How many times, especially go all the way back to 2015, 2016, how many times is like, okay, Donald Trump's done now? Donald Trump screwed
It's not
up.
about
Donald Trump.
though. The thing is, see, Trump wanted this to be about him. That's what that Elon Musk little comment he made.
Mm-hmm.
But it kind of made people wonder about different stuff. But my thing is, dude, that people just 83% of the Republican wants to see this stuff. Okay, they did a poll yesterday. 83%. I don't know if Papa B is on this list or not that wants to see this and thing.
Sure.
But my point is, Trump making it about him, okay, by dogging out people and all this stuff. See what I'm saying?
Oh, no, it is very. At this point, I'm just curious, and I'm like, what in the world's going on?
You yourself by keep on dogging out folks and being the lead man. Let this lady, what's her name, Bondi, let her be the talking point right now and explain this stuff to everybody. She should come out and tell us why she lied over and over and over again on TV. I saw it on TV, lady.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So that's why I am Papa B. I don't know what you saw, but I saw something different. I hear things different. I don't know. Maybe, hell, I'm stupid like this 83% that want to see this stuff.
See, but dude, this cuts both ways. What you're laying down cuts both ways. Like, when have you ever praised Trump and give the man a little trust benefit of the doubt?
When have I?
Yeah, if ever.
I'm gonna give it some thought, but what I'm saying now is not my thought, though. So you trying to make me say something bad about it,
No, see, but you're like, oh, they love him. A man loves another man. I've never seen anything like that. And then it's like, well, but have you ever you're not like an even-handed guy here on this.
I got to say this about him, though. I've never seen another human being that control people like people do overseas with these people, these autocrats and different folks that control people like that. I never saw it in America. I never thought I'd see it on this soil over here, dog. Huh?
Oh, it is over the top. Yeah, we're in a very much personality-based thing going on right now.
All these folks that believe in low taxes and all here ran away the hell up because daddy boy said, I want to do what I want to do. They said, yes, master, whatever you want us to do, but we'd pile on or add on or be on.
It's because Trump connects with people, I think, in an emotional way, and also they generally trust him as opposed to all the rest of the system.
People too. The people overseas connect with their people too.
Huh?
Some kind of way. Yeah, I don't know. Some of it forced and some of it ain't forced, Yeah, just throw them on the bus and take them on the island where alligators at or something. I don't know.
It's just he's been so attacked so long that I think people who've been on this.
You got to pay everybody back, though. You got to let somebody go, too. You got to pay everybody back.
No, I think a lot of folks are ride or die. They've been through enough with the guy. They're ride or die. There's not much he could do. As he said in the first campaign, I'd go shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue. And
those poor ones that work at the White House for the senators and the other cats up there, but I feel sorry for them too. I'm gonna pray for them too next time I pray. I might need to go ahead and break down and get on my knees and pray for these individuals. I don't know. Boy.
Well, and they say don't stop talking about your knees. Like what I've heard is that that singing is like praying twice.
I leave the knee bad when I get down there. Come on, I might not be able to get up. Man.
If you got,
I might need. It might need to be some long prayers. All these folks I need to
just
pray for.
Go ahead, put a pillow down on the side of the bed.
I'm gone, man. Bye.
Later. Good God, man. Anyway, got to hit another break. But first, this part of the program brought to you by Montgomery Men's Health. And they're at Montgomery Men's Health. They're ready to help you fellas out. If you just don't feel yourself, tired, mentally and physically exhausted, haunted by past memories of your younger self where you just go all day, all night. And so you go, well, that's when I was younger. This is just me getting older. This is part of aging. No, doesn't have to be that way. Low energy and performance issues, including in the bedroom, they're not inevitable. Solutions do exist. And so at Montgomery Men's Health, they're not going to be doing guesswork or gimmicks. It's real science, effective treatments that are customized, personalized to you. Work with the urologists there at Montgomery Men's Health and the providers, and they can get a treatment plan set for you at an affordable way. The consultation, including blood work to see your testosterone score, is just $99. You also get a PSA score out of that. You can get results before you leave. And in fact, they have treatments there for low T that will make you feel better the very same day. So act now. You only got one life. Procrastination is only going to make this worse. Call them up, 440-3663. That's 440-3663. Or you can always go to montgomerymenshealth.com to book your appointment today.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
What's your biggest investment? More than likely, it's your home. So treat it that way when you hire a painting contractor. At PBS Painting, there are no gimmicks, no $99 specials. Just quality painting and someone who treats your home with the same respect that you do. At PBS Painting, we have been painting for years and look forward to many more years to come. With PBS Painting, the job gets prepped properly, whether it's cleaning, scraping, or priming. We always use quality products, which is a must for a quality paint job. So if you're looking for a painter that doesn't need upfront money and is on the job at all times, then please give me a call. Scott Bowers and PBS Painting, 294-5122. That's PBS Painting, 294-5122. Look at some of our work on Facebook at Montgomery.
Welcome to Eclectic Coins, Montgomery's largest coin dealer, specializing in buying and selling investment-grade gold and silver coins. And they have a large selection of rare coins and coins from around the world. Visit them at 543 Northeastern Boulevard or on the web at eclecticcoins.com. Eclectic Coins, where collectors who know go.
Hey guys, this is Todd Clark with River Region Contracting, your premier roofing contractor in Central Alabama. So remember the name, River Region Contracting, for all your roofing needs. We're not affiliated with any other roofing company in the River Region. We've been in the roofing business since 2005. We don't have to buy our leads, and we don't have to knock on doors when the storms come around. We have thousands of satisfied customers throughout Central Alabama. So call us at 334-356-8635. That's 334-356-8635.
The Health and Wealth Show. The Health and Wealth Show. The show so nice, we said it twice. Weekday evenings at 6 on News Talk 93.1 WACV. The Health.
Wake it up, son. Joke's over, hey?
The River Region's first and only news talk station on FM. Live, local talk. News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Very quick segment here. We should have City Councilman Andrew Szymanski joining us here in the 1 o'clock hour. Look forward to that. Real quick, this part of the program brought to you by Bo Goodson and the Goodson Group. And they're at the Goodson Group. Bo and his team are ready to help you whether you're looking to buy or sell here in the Montgomery and surrounding areas. And of course, I'm talking about buying or selling a home. Bo's been working in the River Region real estate market for about 50 years now. And the Goodson Group, with that experience, not only can they help you with buying and selling your property, but they have management services available should you want to rent out your home. Great idea in this market. And the Goodson Group is also home of the Bo Goodson Real Estate School, one of the most highly acclaimed and accredited real estate programs here in the great state of Alabama. So check them out today. You can always learn more at thegoodsongroup.com or give them a call at 551-0225. That's 551-0225. Bo Goodson and the Goodson Group. Great sponsor here of the program. Honestly, I can't get enough of the whole Shane Gillis thing. This one had Drewski falling out of his chair.
When Caitlin Clark retires from the WNBA, she's going to work at a Waffle House so she can continue doing what she loves most, fist fighting black women. When Caitlin...
It's so stupid. But it's like, finally, somebody's actually breaking glass on some of these jokes. The Bill Belichick joke, oh, man, that had me rolling. And maybe I'm impartial, just a big fan of Shane Gillis there. But it's interesting to see some of these major companies realize, oh, we need to go with the way the wind is blowing culturally. And you better believe there's going to be a lot of Democrats that follow suit. You got to wonder, how long does the MAGA movement keep that wind in their sails? I think for the time being, based on current polling, the MAGA movement, Trump, they're sitting pretty. Still great support. A lot depends on, as I keep saying, where the economy will be as we celebrate America's 250th birthday. That said, let's hit this break. I think our guest is outside. We'll be right back after this.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. The Senate passing Donald Trump's request to cancel about $9 billion in foreign aid and public broadcasting spending, moving forward on one of the president's top priorities. Consumers picked up their spending in June, showing resilience despite high anxiety over tariffs. Retail sales rose 0.6% in June after declining 0.9% in May. That's according to the Commerce Department. The number of Americans vying for unemployment benefits fell last week to the lowest level in 3 months, a sign the U.S. labor market remains very sturdy. The Labor Department reported that jobless claims for the week ending July 12th fell by 7,000 to 221,000, the fifth straight weekly decline. On Wall Street, stocks have been higher, the Dow up 143, the NASDAQ adding 160. This is SRN News.
Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. You work hard, you build wisely, your home has become one of your greatest assets. If you're staying put this summer, this might be the perfect time to put that equity to work, whether it's funding a second home, helping your kids get their start, or simply creating more margin in your financial life. Mike and Brian at Fellowship Home Loans are the only ones I trust to guide you through it. They've done loans for my family. They tailor every loan to fit your goals. Fellowship is a direct lender and operates with your best interest in mind. If you're looking to access your equity through a refi or exploring a HELOC for some cash this summer for a second property, or maybe tackle those updates you've been putting off, start with people you trust, people I trust. Go to fellowshiphomeloans.com/Mike G, fellowshiphomeloans.com/Mike G, or call 800-510-MIKE, 800-510-6453. Fellowship Home Loans, mortgage lending by the book.
Nationwide Mortgage Bankers, DBA Fellowship Home Loans, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS number 819.
Rich Thomas Weather is brought to you by McPhillips Schimbaum.
My name is Aaron Luck, a partner with the law firm of McPhillips Schimbaum. If you or someone in your family has been seriously injured by the negligence of someone else, call me directly.
262-1911. Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. Our weather app will keep you on top of the action with radar and future radar today as we track some storms moving across the area, especially in the afternoon and evening hours. A little more plentiful today and tomorrow. Otherwise, the sun and cloud mix very hot with highs in the low to mid-90s, triple-digit heat indices again, lows at night in the muggy mid-70s, and not much change over the weekend. More scattered, random afternoon and evening storms around. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Hey, this is Jody Pangle with Peaches and Clean. Have you gone with luxury vinyl tile and luxury vinyl planking in your home? Peaches and Clean cleans luxury vinyl tile and planking. Give us a call. We'd love to come look at it and get you an estimate or quote for your cleaning. Check us out at peachesandclean.com.
From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, here's today's top stories. The Autauga County Board of Education unanimously voted to sell the entire Autaugaville School property Tuesday night. The purchaser, Marquise Forge, was raised in Autaugaville, graduating from Autaugaville School as valedictorian. The Autaugaville School gets a new lease on life as Forge plans to convert the property into a private Christian school. Our Montgomery Biscuits will be changing their name temporarily for one weekend. The Biscuits are collaborating with Tuskegee University to become the Alabama Peanut Runners to honor Dr. George Washington Carver. The team will take on the symbolic name during the August 28th through 31st homestand. Alabama's back-to-school sales tax holiday weekend kicks off tomorrow on July 18th. Parents will have the opportunity to purchase their student school supplies free of Alabama's 4% state sales tax. Montgomery County will be waiving local sales tax as well, which will save consumers a combined 10% sales tax. From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, I'm Sky Mosley.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
Since 1966, Alabama Sheriff's Youth Ranches has been more than just a place to stay. It's been a place to belong. For children facing hardships through no fault of their own, our ranches provide more than shelter. We offer a warm home, a loving family, and a future filled with hope. With open arms, we welcome these young hearts, giving them the love, structure, and guidance they need to heal, grow, and thrive in a warm Christian environment. Together, we can give Alabama's children the chance they deserve, a chance to dream, to succeed, and to feel truly cherished. Every donation stays within Alabama, directly impacting the lives of the children who need it most. Join us in making a difference. Visit AlabamaSheriffsYouthRanches.org. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram, and download our app from your app store. We'd be honored to have you as a part of our mission to lift up Alabama's youth. And remember this, it's easier to build boys and girls than to repair men and women.
An official message from Medicare.
I turned 65 this year. I knew it was time to figure out Medicare, and I had questions, like when to enroll and how to enroll. So I went straight to the official source, Medicare.gov, to get the facts about Medicare. I found answers to all my questions, and I'm ready to get started. And so can you. Just go to Medicare.gov to get the real facts about Medicare.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Hi, this is Bo Goodson from the Goodson Group with your Real Estate Minute. Recently, I met with 3 different owners of homes who had the same problem. They wanted to sell their house quick and sell it as is for cash. All 3 people were approached by different investors that said they had cash for their home, signed contracts, only to find out they were not personally going to buy their homes, but to find a buyer willing to pay more than they offered and pocket the difference. It's called wholesaling. Offer a contract to buy a house at a certain price, up to price to other buyers, and pocket the difference. I urge you, don't fall for it. You want to sell your home quick, use a licensed professional realtor, as I have been for 48 years, keeping promises to get homes sold quick. For all the details, call Bo Goodson at the Goodson Group at 221-2883 or 551-0225. Call Bo Goodson at 221-2883.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Second hour of the program here. And we have a local official. He's a city councilman, Councilor Andrew Szymanski, joining us. How you doing today, sir?
I am doing very well. Thanks for having me here today. Apologies for missing you last month, but excited to be back in the heat of the summer. Talk about the city.
Well, before we go to the city, can we do you want to talk about the personal big thing that's happening in your life? Can we talk about that real quick?
I can. I guess it is a way for alleviating some of my guilt for not being here last month. I was on a personal trip, vacation up to visit family and to be up in Maine, where we like to vacation. Been going my whole life, and came back engaged. Amanda and I got engaged while we were up there. Had a beautiful backdrop at on a Mount Desert Island where Acadia National Park is. Had a wonderful week there. Had a couple of close friends, then got to celebrate a little bit with family. So the next big thing, and we're excited about it.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and talk about that backdrop. That's the way to do it.
Yeah.
Putting other fellas to shame.
Well, it is nice, and going back to Maine is an annual trip that I do every year, and it's a place my family's been going my entire life. My mom's been going since she was 8 years old. My parents had their honeymoon there. So it's a real special place. So it seemed like a good time and a good opportunity. And yeah, we had a great time.
Well, and so that's awesome. And it's good to hear it wasn't just a vacation. It's also, one that's going to be remembered in life as we go forward. Now, as I look at the city, before we get to like council business, some of what y'all did on Tuesday night, I just want your general impression of the current new chief of police. I'll give my take real quick.
Sure.
When I saw his press conference after a pretty bloody weekend, I thought it was effective. I think they need to do that more.
Mm-hmm.
I think also the mayor needs to do that more. But Chief Grayboys, I think expressed the right amount of frustration on his own end. That there's a lot we can do. We're working on it. We're getting more graduating classes. But beyond just the chief and the department itself, this question of a lot of these folks they're arresting are already out on bond for some other crime. So I'm just essentially taking your temperature on the crime issue, the policing issue, where we're at right now in the city.
Yeah, and I think you hit on something that's really important, which is the communication with the public. And there are I trust me, my phone blows up when these things happen. We talk about statistics and we want to, you look at the numbers, and the numbers might tell you that certain types of crime are down here in the city, but the perception and reality are two different things. We know that. Yeah. And part of the way that we can, make that better understood is by communicating more. And in fact, this one comes on the press conference that while I was away, I was in downtown Boston, and I actually sat to tune into it. It was when the chief and the mayor came on. We'd had a rough weekend. We had an incident in downtown that was not gun related, but then we had a gun violence issue where a child was shot. And so we'd had a press conference then. It was direct. You could hear the frustration on the voice of the police chief. And so I think you're right. Having these kinds of updates are important. And then the perception side is we have to be honest about that, is that people, are still hearing and feeling things. And when you're not constantly in communication and talking about the efforts, talking about the arrests. The other night we had the special ops division that was at city council going through the tens of thousands of pounds of illegal drugs, hundreds of guns and all that coming off the street. When we're not constantly getting information, then when we have these weekends, it feels like there's this big uptick in crime. And being able to be more communicative about that, I think, is important. I thought it was a good step, and I'm hopefully we're going to get more of that going forward. I will also say that I've had a good relationship and developed a good relationship with the chief and his top deputies as well. We are hearing and seeing higher levels of recruits coming out of the academy, choosing Montgomery more than we ever had before. And I appreciate their constant reference and continued embrace of the MAX,
yes,
the Montgomery Area Crime Suppression Unit, which is now being looked at for other areas across the state, because that's what this takes, a collaborative approach, taking everybody's resources, working together to get criminals off our street and to stop crime before it happens.
Yeah, no, my next question is going to be about Max. You already answered it in part, and I was speculating with this. I know this is separate, but when you see state, federal, local, this huge raid they just did, and I mentioned the other day, somebody invited me to go eat at the new Mexican place on 231, and I looked, they didn't know the name, so I looked, I'm like, we got like 8 on just 231. That's in our area, and I wonder if cracking down on, say, a major money laundering ring actually helps everybody in the area. That when you see some of this crime, its roots are in, say, this sloshing of money in these gray and illegal markets.
Well, and when you have that kind of attention from multiple agencies, I mean, that was what it took when we had, I think it was, I don't know if it was last summer, maybe last fall, but we were in here and we talked about this a little bit, was when they had that big bust where they had ATF involved, and I think the FBI with the Glock switch manufacturing. I think anytime you've got federal resources being deployed to help stop crime, it does trickle down, right? That money is used for all sorts of things that are causing problems in neighborhoods here in Montgomery. And so Max is obviously something that's focused specifically on this area, but not that we've been briefed on any of these other kind of federal partnerships, but my guess is that having those criminal elements alleviated from the area is only going to be beneficial to Montgomery.
I think so. And I do like that the chief shouted out Max himself.
Mm-hmm.
I think everybody working on the same page is the way to go. And I believe also the state legislature, to the issue of, say, people getting out on bond pretty quick, I believe like Senator Barfoot and others, and it was passed where judges now have new tools available to hold people.
Yeah.
And it's just a matter of, I guess, you don't want to sully any particular case, but you also, I think publicly, we all need to put a little pressure on some of these judges, like stop letting these folks out if they're recommitting.
Yeah, I mean, that was one of the things that was really, I think, a challenge for us to communicate to people is that, look, we know that we have challenges and we were trying to do our best to make the resources available to get as many police officers in uniform and on our streets as we possibly can. The other thing that we have to have is we have to have a judicial system that makes sure that they're not making it easy for people to use the justice system as a turnstile, where they're going in and coming right back out, because we were seeing repeat offenders and stuff out there. And so, the conversation seems to be at a higher, more collaborative level than it was when I first got in, and that's a good thing. And then seeing the mayor, the police chief, getting out there when we have frustrating weekends, scary and sad weekends like we've had last weekend is also important. And because communication is vital to people understanding not only what has happened in our community, but then how we're going to address it going forward. It's part of the ongoing conversation that we have to have as a community to try and combat these things.
Now, shifting to some business, and again, folks, we are talking to Andrew Szymanski, city councilman here for the great city of Montgomery. And business that was held on Tuesday night at the city council meeting that passed awaits the mayor's signature past 7/2. It's a curfew, especially in the downtown entertainment district. I admittedly am a homebody. I used to go down there all the time, and I don't remember there being, I guess I was a bit of a kid in my 20s, but I don't remember it being a bunch of young folks out there. So I guess something's changed in the last few years. You voted against this curfew, though. I'd love to give you the opportunity to explain why. I tend to agree with you, but love for the audience to hear why you were one of the two that voted against this idea.
Yeah, so this goes to some of the incidents that we've had in downtown, where we've had a couple of disturbances, some exhibition driving, issues with people not using the scooters that are down there, for just transportation, a little more joyriding type things. So we'd had a couple of incidents. I don't know if they were all really youth-led incidents. In fact, I think some of them definitely were not minors under the age of 18, which is the age group that this targets, is people that are under the age of 18 being in downtown. Monday through Thursday, that cutoff time is 9 p.m. On the weekends, I think it goes up to 11 p.m. First off, one of my big concerns about this ordinance is the chief very directly said, and the meeting before our legal department had also weighed in on, is that police can't just walk up to somebody and ask for their identification and to tell them what their age is, right? That is a violation of somebody's personal freedoms and rights. That gave me a huge pause because, people should be able to use our downtown space as they please, and we can't be stopping them to make sure that people are a certain age. Is this a deterrent? Well, one of the things that people said is like, well, if there are juveniles committing crimes, then this helps the police in dealing with that element. And my issue is, you kind of just said it already, is that if they're committing crimes or they've done something that causes the police to engage with them that is criminal, then we should be using the laws that are on the books, enforcing the laws that are on the books. If they're loitering, if they're causing public disruptions, if there's underage consumption of alcohol, all of those things are things the police can use that we already have in place. And then the question that came up during the meeting especially was the enforcement side of it. Look, we talk about the number of resources and officers that we have, and part of the ordinance specifically says that once detained, that an officer will stay with that individual until a parent can be found to come retrieve the individual. Then there was some question about, well, what happens if they can't find a parent? And then, that's where I don't think this was really a tool. It is a statement that we can make that says that we're alerting, parents. But look, parents have the responsibility of knowing where their kids are, especially, of this age group, right? If there's 14-year-old children that are running around downtown at midnight, I don't know that an ordinance is really the thing that we need. We need to have direct intervention to try and correct some of that. I understand that it is potentially a statement of how serious we are about downtown being a certain type of place. I also just had some concerns because we are doing so much work in downtown and have a lot of really great things going. I was just down there a couple of weekends ago at a Biscuits game, and there were so many people downtown. There were young people at the Biscuits game, and the Biscuits game didn't get out before 9 o'clock that night because there was fireworks that night. And so I think we can, in my opinion, it was not something that was going to be easily enforceable. I had concerns about how it was going to be executed. And then I guess the final concern is now we've kind of put it out there where if we start seeing a gathering of teenagers, potential teenagers at 9:05 p.m. and they're not doing anything wrong, what are we supposed to do? And what are you going to do when you have business owners who are calling, the council or police up and saying, hey, I think those people are teenagers over there. We're going to have this discussion about what do we do then? Right. And is the presumption that we can walk up to you and go, you look like you're under the age of 18? I mean, we have fresh recruits in the military here. We have college students here. We have all sorts of people that are interacting in that space in downtown. I just did not think that this was an ordinance that was necessary to put on the books to combat the things that we're concerned with combating.
Well, and this is a question why recruiting numbers need to continue to rise, because you could have a regular presence just downtown. And I understand people have concerns with, like, say, out of towners that are at the Renaissance and trying to enjoy the bar outside, or there's a big event at Impact, or just the bar life, and you don't want a bunch of kids just spread around all your bars.
Yeah,
I get that, but if you don't have the people there, and I'd imagine they're flexible, depends on what's going on downtown, how many folks are actually stationed down there. But I don't know. I heard what Marche, who was really pushing, Marche Johnson, was pushing. I get her point, but I think I agree more with you, and I would urge the mayor not to go with this.
Yeah, and I thought it was interesting. The chief was very diplomatic in saying at the council meeting, look, it's not for me to take a legislative stance. Like, our job is to enforce the laws that are in the books. The feedback that we'd gotten, we'd had a couple of public disturbance events. We had, as I said, some exhibition driving issues, a fight or two in the downtown area. I was not being told that those were being committed by like packs and hordes of teenagers.
No. I saw one girl get the hair ripped off her head, though. It was a knockout drag out.
Yeah, I mean, there were definitely some incidents down there. What I then heard the chief say is that we have adjusted our force deployment in the downtown area to meet the challenges and the incidents that were happening. And it was said in the meeting, it looks like the past few weeks have been much, much quieter downtown. And the chief said, yes, it has been. And I think our efforts are a direct reflection of that. I was in Philadelphia about a year ago, and I remember being in their downtown kind of businessy bar restaurant area. And you just saw police officers out there that were walking down the streets. They were saying hello to people, kind of just giving people the check-in. They were letting themselves be known, and it made you feel like if something happened that you had seen somebody, if you cried out, somebody would respond, or if a phone call was made about an incident that was happening, that they would be there. And I think that that's exactly the approach that we're being told is happening. I think the curfew is reactionary, and I do think it doesn't really solve some of these isolated incidences.
Right.
And I don't even know if, like, I went to school at the University of Georgia, Athens, Georgia. Like, you're going to have bar fights. You're going to have incidences, right?
Sure.
If Nashville and New Orleans can have the downtowns that they have without curfews, and regardless of, the approach and the way the police deploy their resources there, they're working with law enforcement to make sure people aren't breaking the law. I don't think we need a ordinance or a law on the books that just says you cannot be here after a certain time, especially if I can't even ask you as a police officer, how old are you?
Now, we got to hit
Sure.
I think it's sound. Like what you just said is how I would approach it. You don't have to be going up and saying, you look young, give me your ID.
No.
You can be like, I'm so-and-so, and you're just there. You're hanging out. You get to know people. It's not that big of a city. You can recognize folks pretty quick after being down there a little bit. We don't need stop and frisk. You need more. You're just friendly peace officer walking the beat.
Sure.
It should be more the idea. I agree with that. Before the break, though, another thing came up where it's something like $67,000 for 3 days to have a Ferris wheel. This is for the celebration of the historically black colleges and universities.
Mm-hmm.
Big weekend coming up. Thinking, in October?
Mm-hmm.
And number one, I'm like, damn, that's a lot of. It's not that much money in terms of the whole budget. That's a lot of money for 3 days for must be a kick butt Ferris wheel. But I was intrigued by saying this is a trial run to maybe have a permanent Ferris wheel on the riverfront.
So I'd heard about the permanency. I think just yesterday someone had mentioned that to me. That had not been communicated to us that this was a trial run. What I will say, because I've had some people call and ask about this. And first off, the only reason that we know that this was coming through the pipeline is because last year I put up an ordinance that said that any contract the city was going to sign over $50,000, needed to be reviewed by the city council.
Yep.
What I also said in that is that this is not an excuse for us to micromanage the activities of our departments. And so, because I've had some people say, like, why would we be? And the answer is, it's just like when we have, whether it's other types of events, color runs, cultural engagement of pieces. This is a component of a really big event that brings a lot of people to the city of Montgomery, to big HBCU football programs and their fans and families. And we do enhancements. Last year we had a big fan zone down at the riverfront as well. And so this fits in as part of that. Ferris wheels sound pretty cool. I like a Ferris wheel. And so we're the city's cultural affairs department, which has a budget, which was approved by the city council. Now, a difference would be, and one thing that we saw when we did the Whitewater and had this conversation back in May is when we have to do something that isn't in the budget, where we're actually doing a funds agreement to, do something like alleviate some of the operational costs for Whitewater. But this was something that came through the cultural affairs department, and $67,000 for a 3-day Ferris wheel. I hope it's well used. I have not heard about a permanent Ferris wheel. I mean, one of the challenges in just that riverfront area is that it floods. So I don't know. I'd have some concern. I'd want to know exactly where this thing was going before we said we wanted to have a Ferris wheel. But again, I understand people's concerns, and I'm really glad that people are paying attention to the consensus agenda or the consent agenda at the top of the meeting that has all the contracts in there, whether it be the improvements to the zoo, finishing touches on different facilities, engineering that we're doing, road work, paving projects, all that above $50,000 now is on every city council agenda. That was the reason why I put that and worked with the council to get that passed, is because it is good for us to have transparency when it comes to financial decisions at the city.
We got to hit a break, but before I hit this break, first, as part of the program, brought to you by James Cole and Cole Plumbing, and they're at Cole Plumbing. They're ready to help you with any and all of your plumbing needs. Could be an everyday problem like a dripping faucet. That's annoying. Why do I have to always go to the bathroom? Toilet's always running. Maybe flush the toilet, something comes up in the shower drain. That's bigger than just a normal problem. Clogged drain, low water pressure. But of course, they can also help you with a huge leak. Could be a water leak inside or outside the home, or something like a gas line leak. If you smell it, you need to get that fixed immediately. It's a very dangerous, serious issue. And Cole Plumbing can help you with all that. What's great is they have this proprietary pipelining technology that allows them to fix those big leaks without tearing out a bunch of drywall, digging up a huge hole in your yard. They can get to the problem with precision and expertise with minimal discomfort to you and your home. And of course, they can also help you upgrade to, say, a tankless water heater system, or maybe you want to install a new garbage disposal, or you're getting up there in age, your hips and knees don't work as well. You want a taller toilet. They can help you with all sorts of stuff like that. Just call them today. Save that number in case you're just thinking about it. 279-8919. That's 279-8919. And just remember, folks, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Are you tired of the mainstream media's biased reporting? Do you want to stay informed on the news that really matters to you? Look no further than 1819 News. At 1819 News, we bring you the latest in Alabama news, politics, sports, culture, and more. We've assembled a team of journalists with Alabama values dedicated to the truth and the truth alone. Visit us at 1819news.com today. That's 1819news.com. Subscribe to our newsletter. Honest News, Alabama Values. This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
This is David Ernest from the Health and Wealth Show. We like to cut up and have fun, maybe poke a little fun at some politicians. But we don't take ourselves too seriously. One thing we do take seriously is your personal finances and your plans for retirement. You can tell by listening, we're a little different. Yeah, we like to have a good time on the radio, but we're dead serious about your financial future and helping you achieve your goals. At Ernest Financial, we're committed to giving you the attention you need. We don't treat you like a number. You're way more important to us. At Ernest Financial, it's about helping you today and preparing you for tomorrow. People call us who are on the verge of retirement, and they know they need a plan for the future. No matter where you are in life, Ernest Financial will help guide your every step towards retirement. Give us a call and let us show you you what our individual customer attention can do for your future.
Concerned about your retirement? Call David Ernest toll free at 833-596-7233. That's 833-596-SAFE.
Mr. Electric.
I've been doing electrical work for 8 years, 7 years, 6 years, 23 years. I love troubleshooting. It's one of my passions.
Electrical is all I do, unless my wife asks me to do something at home. Together, there's nothing that we can't figure out or accomplish.
We've seen it all here at Mr. Electric.
Going in with the confidence to know it doesn't matter what I'm going to run into, I'm going to figure it out, and confidently telling that customer, we got you taken care of.
Mr. Electric, the power to make things better.
Hi, I'm Cheryl Woodward, account executive with Blue Water Broadcasting. Why should you advertise with us? Did you know that more Americans listen to radio than use Facebook each week? Did you know that 77% of listeners would try a brand or product endorsed by their favorite radio personality? Contact me, Cheryl Woodward, by going to bluewaterbroadcasting.com to find out more. Blue Water Broadcasting, local folks helping local business.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network, brought to you by Alabama Wholesale Lumber. Alabama Wholesale Lumber, serving the river region with the best quality building materials for decades. Contractor to do-it-yourselfer. Call Alabama Wholesale Lumber.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. Our weather app will keep you on top of the action with radar and future radar today as we track some storms moving across the area, especially in the afternoon and evening hours. A little more plentiful today and tomorrow. Otherwise, the sun and cloud mix, very hot with highs in the low to mid-90s, triple-digit heat indices again, lows at night in the muggy mid-70s, and not much change over the weekend. More scattered, random afternoon and evening storms around. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Budget Floors and More has the best prices. Carpet as low as 69 cents per square foot. LVP starting at $1.29 a square foot. Sheet vinyl as low as 65 cents per square foot. And the lowest prices on flooring installation supplies. Budget Floors and More across from Delray to Publix.
Live, local talk. The River Region's most trusted voice for news and opinion. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Again, in the studio with me, we have Andrew Szymanski. He's on the Montgomery City Council. Now, one thing we were just talking about off air is it's crazy this time we live in to where, you made this point, but it also kind of hit me when it all happened. We're coming up on the second anniversary. Some people are treating it as an anniversary of the Riverfront Brawl.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like what Montgomery has become known for, despite all our history and many other ways. And it's so bizarre because to me, that's just a couple of drunks from Selma and some stuff happened and it was all caught on video. But it's weird to feel like see your hometown and see yourself, in my case, caught up in a viral moment. And it made me go, okay, like the reporting's not necessarily untrue. It's factual, but it doesn't seem to, in 2 minutes, say on Fox News or whatever, on a clip on Twitter, doesn't seem to capture like who we are. And yet that's what we're known for now.
Yeah. Well, it was definitely a viral moment, and it is definitely, whenever there's a moment like that gets carried forward, you can kind of see how it can be. It can give identity, but at the same time, it's then important for people when they decide to look more into, when they look at the hashtag Montgomery and they click on it, that they see other really awesome things that are happening here. And I think the point about it is valid, where you say to somebody on the outside, like, sure, we had the Riverfront Brawl. We also have 1.1 million tourists who are coming to our city for this amazing, Equal Justice Initiative museum and all these different installations they have. The Biscuit Stadium just got named one of the best AA baseball stadiums in the entire country. You have, rich history. We're a capital city. The importance of who we say we are and who we want to, how we define ourselves is important. Going back to the curfew, that was part of my messaging during the council meeting, during the work session, was like, I'm also just a little bit concerned about us needing to say we have to have a curfew for minors as if we were having hordes of young people. Like, again, I understand why some people thought it was important, and that's their choice. And as we always say on the council, you vote your conscience and do what you think is best for the city. That was another concern that I have. But yeah, 2 years ago, that became that flash in the pan moment that literally traveled. I mean, I remember my sister in Massachusetts sending me one of the Avengers memes that came along with that, and saying, like, is that where you did dragon boats back in the day? And I was like, yeah, that's the dock. That you've been on that Harriet 2 boat before. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely it's an anniversary of some kind, but I do think there's a lot of other things to celebrate here in the city.
Yeah, let's hope. And you were telling me that you're very nicely, very quickly selling me on it that I should go. You said the tubing down at the Whitewater Park. They've added like you can go down the course in a big old tube. Yeah,
I did it for the first time on Sunday. It's a new thing that they've added. And I think this is one of the good things that we're seeing with the new director that's out there, Jason. On top of that, going back to communication and transparency, he is sending the council and other elected officials and people of the city weekly reports on the activities that are happening out there. I was out there the first week and they had tubing, and I couldn't tube because it had already sold out for the next week. I had to wait 8 days to get onto a tube because it's been so popular out there. They've just launched a new menu. I know a lot of people, kind of joke with me about how I come on here and always talk about Whitewater, but I mean, again, along with all these other great things that we have here, the getting that right and in a better sense from a business standpoint going forward is important because it's there and it's an opportunity for us. And the other day on Friday morning at 9 a.m. Last week, they had 300 officers from the International Military Academy class that they had. That was the first thing they were getting to do coming into Montgomery, I'm pretty sure. And so it's a tool for us that goes beyond just the citizens of Montgomery and tourists. When Meta sent their big executives and probably very fancy private planes, and they came here, their first meeting they had, their first introduction to Montgomery was in one of the meeting spaces at Montgomery Whitewater. So but the tubing was fun. It's a bit chaotic. It is you are just going down Whitewater Rapids in a tube.
You can't control. You're just holding on.
Oh, it's pinball.
Okay.
It is total pinball.
Nice.
And it was a blast, and they did a great job out there. A great way to cool off. And for people that don't want to go all the way up to the lakes or down to the beach, to get in some cool water and have some fun, it was a really great spot. And with the zip lines and the bike rentals and people walking their dogs out there, it was a good day.
Now, I asked the mayor something like this the other day, and just kind of bearing where I'm at in life. But you're more my same age, and so I think I want your take on this. Like, it's just me and my grandfather right now. That's the only family I've left here.
Mm-hmm.
And, I don't know any other city. I haven't lived other than when I lived in Auburn. But there's a part of me, it's like, do I follow my brother and his wife and that little niece of mine in Nashville or wherever they end up? And I'm wondering, why have you chosen to put down roots here? And, with engagement and all this, like you're making life happen. And you're obviously a stakeholder in the city being on the council. Like, why Montgomery?
It goes back to when I first ran. This city has provided opportunities to people that are hungry for either charting their own path, being entrepreneurs. It is a place of opportunity. There's very few places, capital cities especially, cities that sit almost perfectly located from places like Atlanta, Birmingham, Nashville, Chattanooga, the beach, New Orleans, Tallahassee, 30A, all of that sits right in the middle where you have the opportunity, career and investment wise, you have the opportunity, cost of living wise. I mean, I never could have afforded to do the things that I've done, small business wise, real estate wise here, while also, working a nonprofit job that I love. And the city grants access to people. There are lots of wonderful organizations and civic and municipal groups that are out there, nonprofits. So you can get really involved in your community, and it comes with a general kind of small time charm. I'm originally from Massachusetts. I grew up 20 miles north of the city of Boston. Nothing I'm doing now I would have been able to afford to do there. I think if you want to stand out and really kind of make a name for yourself and do some good stuff here, you can. It has its challenges, but so does every other city. As I said, I grew up in Boston. The early 90s, late 80s in Boston was a unique time to be in that city. And so, I've grown to love Montgomery, and yes, obviously with the engagement, Amanda's from Montgomery originally. So, I've just found a way to make this place a really great home in a way that I don't think I could have done in many other places.
Yeah, no, and I'm not saying I'm going anywhere, folks. I'm just saying, I'll have decisions and options.
Sure.
Before too long. And I do find that this place is home. It does feel like home, but sometimes I wonder about, okay, what could I beyond radio really get involved with? Of course, there's always the nonprofit stuff. I've always thought about that. And I believe Jason Davenport wrote about this for 1819 News the other day in an op-ed. Like, we don't tap into our music scene as much as we should.
No.
And the musical talent. And something needs to be done about like making that a regular thing that's always going on downtown or around the city.
Well, but that's the thing that I think is interesting too. There's a culture thing that we need to do, especially with kind of the generation, our generation, people that are coming here that are younger. I give a lot of credit to people that are tapping into that. I mean, if you go to Red Bluff, the bar music venue that's right down in Riverfront Park, about 4 or 5 days every week, they have live music, local and non-local musicians that are traveling through. They hosted Red Bluff Fest. Jerry's Juke Joint that just opened up in the downtown area, live music every weekend. The Exchange, the bar that sticks out from the Renaissance Hotel, live music, almost 4 or 5 days, maybe 6 days a week. One thing that I noticed with some of my friends in places like Nashville, like Atlanta, like Charlotte, and some of the other big cities is that when you're living in downtowns, and you're living near where a lot of stuff is happening, people are more just it's more intuitive for them to get out and explore a little bit more. Montgomery is an easy city to get around. We're a small city. Okay. And so I do think that somehow we have to get people excited about getting out and exploring and supporting what's here, because you do have local people who are giving it their best shot to create something awesome to share with the rest of the city. And there's space for more. And that's kind of the nice thing too, is that Montgomery is the painting has not been painted. It's an open canvas of opportunity for people that want to figure out ways to do things here. And that can be in a variety of ways. I am looking at trying to do more, open more spaces and venues in the downtown area because I'm excited about it. And I see a lot of good things coming there. I've had people come to me and say, well, I'm really interested in doing this. And I just tell them, give it a go. This is a really friendly place. It would be even more friendly if more people across the city really took the time just to go try. If you haven't been in downtown in the last year, go try something. Go to the Biscuits game. I took one of my neighborhood associations. We all went, Normandale. We went to the Biscuits game together. There are people that hadn't been to the Biscuits game in 10, 15 years. Some had never been at all. Loved every part of the experience. The food was great. The baseball was great. The experience was great. They had a great time, and they were very thankful for that. So I think that we do have a lot going on. We could have a lot more, encouraging people. If you think we need something in Montgomery, let's do it. We got the new Small Business One-Stop Shop that's helping get businesses seated in place across the city. We have to make a case for why Montgomery is not only a viable place to live, it can also be a fun place to live.
Yeah, and maybe I shouldn't give my idea away, and I'm not, I don't have the business acumen. I'm not really the numbers money guy. But I've always thought that, we do have impact. We do have, if you want the amphitheater, or maybe if you get a bigger venue, you can get the really big acts. And you do have, as you just laid out, Jerry's Juke Joint and all the different local venues where music is going on. There is a niche that, like Cloverdale Playhouse as well, when they do host people, it's pretty great. But there might be a niche where, and you see it in other cities around the country and other regions, where it's a smaller, more intimate setting, and it can be a dual use studio. So you could do stuff like what we're doing right now.
Sure.
But then you could also have a band come in, perform for a very small, intimate crowd, but it is immediately recorded.
Yep.
So you have a very high quality video, high quality audio recording. And because we're such a small place, it's a nice stop for somebody who's touring and traveling. Just do a relaxed gig that you get a great, content out of.
Yeah. I mean, I think that whole spectrum is available to us. I mean, when we don't have something here in Montgomery and we do have to travel out, it is kind of nice that Birmingham is only so far away. So if you want to go see someone at a venue like the Saturn or at Iron City, you definitely can. But we can have those kind of more intimate things, and we do have people that are interested in those. And you may not think you have the business acumen to do it, but we have said ever since I kind of started in this position that it was really important for us to not only talk about and say out loud that we're supporting small business, but to actually do it. And I give a lot of credit to Community and Economic Development team, the work that they've done doing the small business one-stop shop. That is a place, there is an office you could walk in right now and say, this is what I want to do. And they are funded through the city, through our departments, to make sure and to try their darndest to get your idea into a reality, finding you real estate, helping you through the permitting process, helping you through the banking process, doing if you need coaching on how to do certain things, how to create a business plan, how to create an investor sheet or a pitch deck. We have those resources here. And because of the kind of smaller nature of our city, an individual can walk in off the street and really try and realize an idea or a dream that they have. Hilltop's a side hustle for me. That's a side project that I have because I cared about creating a community space, and that didn't exist back when. And so we did it the hard way, and I've been very committed to trying to find ways to make it easier for entrepreneurs of all ages to see things through and to create dreams. And now we have a tool that can be used.
Again, folks, we're talking to Andrew Sismansky with Montgomery City Council, and also, wears a lot of hats, as he just said. He's got a side project. He's doing a lot here in the city. Again, that's 272-9228. Before I jump to some of these calls, another thing I brought up with Senator Tuberville earlier this week. I continue to press the state government, so I'm going to continue to ask you all about it. This week is Crypto Week in the United States Congress, and I'm just wondering, has there at least been some discussions behind the scenes, at least, about how the city could maybe leverage this new technology, this new thing happening in the economy? For instance, I think of it might be for political reasons or whatever, but I saw Eric Adams at the big Bitcoin conference in Vegas talking about bit bonds for the city of New York. So it seems like there's a lot of things out there that a city could jump into in the crypto space to not only be involved with the new cool thing, but more to actually benefit its people in long-term wealth.
So I hope that we're having those conversations, and candidly, it's not a conversation that I have been involved in, but that's why I think it's important for cities to position themselves and to have the right people with the right skill set and knowledge to be there to inform us how we can tap into that. I mean, a lot of the things that we look at in other cities where we go, how come they get to have this? It's because they've had a team of people or an individual who knows that landscape, whether it be navigating the federal grant process, understanding how other cities can use crypto or these other kind of financial tools to a city's benefit. So it's really about having the right people involved. I am not the right person when it comes to understanding this world, but I do hope that we are having those conversations, and I look forward to us having those discussions at the council level.
Let's see who this is on line one. You're on there. Who's this?
It's old simpler days.
Hey, man. How you doing?
Pretty good. Question for the good councilman there. Do we still have a public safety committee?
Well, the council does, yes. Council's public safety committee is made up of 4 individuals. I am not on the committee. I sat in on those meetings, but yes, we have a public safety committee through the council.
Was the curfew through the public safety committee?
The curfew was discussed at the council level, and as I said, I don't think they had a committee meeting to discuss it in June while I was away, so I don't believe it went through the public safety committee. Actually, I'm pretty sure it did not.
I just don't understand. We can't enforce with adults panhandling. We can't put up any signs 25 feet of a public right of way. There are eyesores for tourists coming into the city on the major intersections. We can't enforce that, even we have a state law now. But we come up with this ordinance, and now you're putting police officers in a position where they enforcing a law or an ordinance? And then if you pick this juvenile up, as you said, and it takes about an hour or more when you arrest somebody on a warrant to get back in service. So now you're going to tie up a patrol unit. We've got limited resources, but you're going to tie them up for an hour babysitting this juvenile until you can find some responsible party to take them. I just don't think it was thought through very well. And then what happens if this, and of course a police officer can engage somebody in conversation just like any other citizen. And so you can talk to them and start the conversation. Hey, what you doing? How, and lead into something. But this ordinance thing, now you're going to get the officer into possibly a resisting case with the individual that says, look, screw you. I don't have to tell you how old I am. And he starts to walk away. And now the officer, what's he going to do?
Yep. No, you're reiterating some of the points that I was trying to make about this issue. So, I definitely, had a variety of concerns about, enforcement. I think was a really primary one for me. And as I said earlier, we have laws where if you have juveniles that are engaged in, consuming alcohol in public or just consuming underage, if you have them in engaging in disruptive behavior, exhibition driving, any of that kind of stuff, we've got laws to address that. And I think I said in one of the interviews I did afterwards, I just think it creates a little bit of ambiguity and some confusion and, just another layer of things that I didn't think was needed when we're trying to make sure that downtown is vibrant but safe as well.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, Simpler Days. Let's go to line 2. You're on there. Who's this?
Matthew.
Who?
Hey, Matthew.
Hey, Matthew.
I don't know if I haven't heard the entire conversation, but my whole thing is people just don't feel safe in Montgomery. And no matter what you have, until they feel safe, they're not going to come out and support something. I mean, I know plenty of people that just won't even go to eat here. They choose to go to eat in Prattville or Wetumpka or somewhere like that because they simply don't feel safe here. And that's East Chase, that's Central Montgomery, that's getting your hair cut on the Upper Wetumpka Road. You don't know what you're going to get involved in.
Yeah, well, it is not my place to tell somebody how they're supposed to feel in the city that we're in. All that we can do is make sure that we have all of the ingredients kind of in play to make sure that we have the city that we all want to see. Now, there are issues, and we need to be very honest, upfront, and direct when we have issues of crime that are affecting the way people are feeling in their homes, in their neighborhoods, and their places of work, for sure. But I think Montgomery is done and taking some real strides forward. And there are a lot of really great things that I and many others are enjoying. And as I said, that's personal, my personal belief about what it is. I'm not going to tell somebody that they're wrong in their concerns for safety, for sure. We're going to keep working and making sure that at the council level, like we did when we provided over 19% raises across the board for the Montgomery Police Department in the past 2 years, making sure that now you're seeing the motorcycles out there because we've made those resources available to our public safety outfits and continue to provide the police chief all the tools they need when it comes to recruitment of new officers. The home loan program that I worked with the bank on getting started is doing really well. And we're getting people into homes in the city of Montgomery. So we're trying to do all the things that we have, what we can do to make sure that this place, and then perception on individuals, that's a personal thing.
I give you an A+ for trying, but until the police feel they have the support of the mayor and his administration, it doesn't matter if you're paying them $1 million a year, they're not going to come. Montgomery County Sheriff's Department has no problem getting people, but the police department does. Well, that should tell you something. They don't feel like they have the support of their mayor, and that's going to affect things like the Whitewater Park.
Sure.
People don't want to come there because they don't feel safe, whether it's right by Maxwell or not. They just don't feel safe. I mean, you look at the problems they've had at the Looney skating rink, which is right across from the police precinct. And, that's right across the street from the police and fire department. And people aren't scared. They don't worry about the police.
No, and I think I was bringing this up with the mayor himself the other day, Matthew, where I think some of this going on right now is a leadership question, and some of it is do more press conferences, communicate more with the public that we're on top of things, even though stuff does happen. But then some of this is
Chief Gray Boys is doing a great job.
Right. And I think
Boys is doing a great job at that.
And I think some of this is people who are the principals, who are the leaders in the community. Some elect officials, some aren't necessarily officials, but they're leaders nonetheless. Need to be on the same page, and this might require breaking bread behind the scenes and actually building some trust over time. It's not going to happen in one night, but I do see that as sort of the outlying issue. It's not a money thing. It's not. It is a people thing, and we need to build that trust and build that trust at the leadership level.
And it's also a community thing. When we've got to get the parents to somehow get involved with their kids and keep them away from all this, because it's going to take a couple of generations to get this problem fixed.
Well, I appreciate the call, man.
Thank you.
The unfortunate thing is I've been hearing since I've been doing this 14 years, it all begins at home for about 14 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think it's most folks, but I think it's enough where it does cause an issue. And yeah, that my first sense of that curfew was like, the government can't be your dad. Yeah. And not like, it's just the government can't be your parent.
Yeah.
Like, they can enforce laws that are good laws, but like this is something that's beyond, I think, government.
Yeah. I mean, we literally at the city council, the mayor and the police chief were providing a commendation to our special operations division. And they were doing so because of all of the hard work that those officers are doing. They are out in that division, especially making our city safer every single day. So we are all committed to having the resources and the support that we need to give to make sure that people in law enforcement can do their jobs. Look at the fire department. The only ISO class 1 in the state comes from the support we provide. But when it comes to these issues in neighborhoods and homes, changing and moving a culture forward, the school system and whatnot, all of that kind of thing, you know, we all have to be engaged in a way, and we have to find ways to encourage the types of things we want to see in our cities. So I do think, you know, I get a lot of people that try and say, you know, that question whether it be response times or the interactions they're having with law enforcement. But every single person I talk to over there is committed to the jobs that they're doing, and they're doing the jobs to an exceptional degree. And we need to continue to make sure that we are filling the ranks with people that are just as committed and providing those resources. And I think that that's something that all my colleagues would agree we're trying to do.
No, I don't have much time left. This has nothing to do with the city, but I'm asking everybody, what do you think this whole, like, there's nothing to see here at the Jeffrey Epstein thing? Like, just nothing at all. Like, there's nothing to give to the folks. Like, we should move on. Like,
what do I think about it?
Yeah.
I mean, I'll tell you this, like, it's, I am so glad that the issues that I get to talk with, like, affect the way people commute to work, where they go have fun and play. I couldn't imagine being a PR or a communications person that has to be in. I mean, I don't know how they're messaging their way through all of this. It's not something that's been high on my purview, mostly because I know I don't have any direct, but also I remember when the case came up, I mean, it was also, given the allegations, very sad. I mean, like,
awful.
It's a flash in the pan story at the moment, but what was happening, the actual crimes were horrific, you know? And like, I do hope that we're not forgetting that part of it, because we're having, you know, some kind of left-right, blue-red debate over.
Oh no, I think most of the politics is always going on, but I think most folks remember, like, what's underlying here, and it's, I think also to some people has become a bit of a symbol of, there's a 2-tier system of justice. There are certain folks that are unaccountable, that get away with stuff, and the way they've been going about this turn of face, this just like, oh, we're going to release it all. We gave you the phase 1 binders, get ready for phase 2. And all of a sudden, no, there's nothing there.
Yeah,
and you're stupid if you even question it.
No,
yeah, I don't like it.
I found it, you know, it is interesting to watch that kind of unfold at that level, where you have people that are, I assume, make millions of dollars to craft messages and do all that kind of stuff. Interestingly, in that situation, you know, that's one of the hardest things to do, that I've even had to learn the lesson of in a much, much smaller way, is when you promise things during campaigns or out in public, or say things because a crowd's excited to hear you say something. People don't forget very much, and they will remind you. And if I look at somebody and say, yeah, I promise next year we're getting Joey Clark Way paved. If I don't get it paved, all the residents on that street are going to come after me. And me saying that's not what I said, or I didn't intend to come out.
It doesn't need to be paved.
No, I don't think that will go over very well. So it has, especially for someone like me, I love to talk. I love problem solving. I'm a people person. And I have to be very careful about the way that I try and make promises to people, because you can see what could happen in a much smaller way.
Well, I appreciate your time today, man, and we'll do it again soon.
All right, well, we appreciate it. Thanks, everyone.
This part of the program brought to you by Alabama Home Mortgage. In fact, the entire hour brought to you by Alabama Home Mortgage. Kim Williams and Madeline Cannon are ready to help you. Just call them up direct at 567-4223, whether you're looking to get pre-approved so you can start that home buying process, or maybe looking to refinance. A lot of folks doing that. Maybe you took out a home equity loan or a second mortgage and you want to, and had adjustable rates, and we need to fix that problem. A lot of folks doing that, as well as credit card debt, or maybe you're just looking to get monthly overhead costs down as you're close to or already in retirement. Again, that number for Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. That's 567-4223. Or you can always apply online at myalabamahomemortgage.com. There is a difference in mortgage companies. Let Kim and Madeline prove that to you today. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusada, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. In Boise, Idaho, a judge has lifted a sweeping gag order in Brian Kohlberger's quadruple murder case. Kohlberger had pleaded guilty to murdering 4 Idaho University students. His sentencing will be this week. Maureen Comey, the daughter of former FBI Director James Comey, and a federal prosecutor in Manhattan, has been fired by the Justice Department. Immigration and Customs Enforcement plans to hire 10,000 employees over 5 years. That echoes a Border Patrol expansion back in the 2000s. And singer Connie Francis has died at the age of 87. The cause of death has not been made public. On Wall Street, the Dow is ahead 275 points now, and the NASDAQ Composite adding 164. This is SRN News.
Hi, Mike Gallagher here. As the summer heats up, so do the bills. If you're like a lot of folks, you're not selling your home anytime soon, but that equity you've built, just sitting there. That's why I trust Mike and Brian at Fellowship Home Loans. Love this place. It's in their name, their DNA. They're the team I've used personally, and they treat every client like family. Fellowship Home Loans. They know how to help you tap into your home's value wisely, whether that's a HELOC or a cash-out refi. Fellowship is a direct lender and operates with your best interest in mind. Maybe it's time to finally knock out that renovation, pay off some debt, or just add a little cushion to your retirement account. With rates still reasonable and inflation squeezing all of us, your home might be the smartest financial tool you've got right now. So if you're staying put this summer, make your home work for you. Visit my friends at Fellowship Home Loans, fellowshiphomeloans.com/Mike G, or call 800-510-MIKE, 800-510-6453. Fellowship Home Loans, mortgage lending by the book.
Nationwide Mortgage Bankers, DBA Fellowship Home Loans, equal housing lender, NMLS number 8193.
Rich Thomas Weather is brought to you by McPhillips Schimbaum.
My name is Aaron Luck, a partner with the law firm of McPhillips Schimbaum. If you or someone in your family has been seriously injured by the negligence of someone else, call me directly.
262-1911. Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. Our weather app will keep you on top of the action with radar and future radar today as we track some storms moving across the area, especially in the afternoon and evening hours. A little more plentiful today and tomorrow. Otherwise, a sun and cloud mix, very hot with highs in the low to mid-90s, triple-digit heat indices again, lows at night in the muggy mid-70s, and not much change over the weekend. More scattered, random afternoon and evening storms around. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
CB&S Bank has digital banking solutions to help you keep up. Check balances, pay bills, and much more. Learn more at cbsbank.com. Charges and fees may apply from your cellular service provider. Contact your service provider for information. Member FDIC.
1819 News.
Governor Ivey is now weighing in on a case out of Homewood where 18-year-old Jabari Peoples was shot and killed by a police officer on June 22nd. The family of Jabari Peoples has been seeking the release of police body camera footage of the moments leading up to that shooting, since police describe it as an altercation where Peoples went for a gun in the car. Governor Ivey is supporting the Alabama Law Enforcement Agency as it currently conducts an investigation and has control over the release of the body camera footage. Ivey says that once that investigation is completed, the video footage will be turned over to the local district attorney, who will then show the footage to the Peoples family. Ivey says she's confident that the facts will prevail in this case. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
Did you know that 70% of people experience a potentially traumatic event in their lifetime, and that 6 out of every 100 adults face PTSD every day? Help us bring hope to these survivors by signing up for your Alabama Distinctive PTSD Awareness License Plate today. The great thing is you can sign up no matter when your current plate renews, and the first year is complimentary. All you need is your VIN number on hand. Drive awareness, drive hope, and customize your plate today at atease.org.
A drug bust in Decatur results in 8 people being charged. The arrests are part of an investigation that started this past June. A search warrant was executed at a home in Decatur where authorities found meth, crack cocaine, synthetic marijuana, and prescription drugs. The 8 people arrested are currently being held in the Morgan County Jail. A small plane crashed near the Sylacauga Municipal Airport on Wednesday. The pilot of the plane reported having engine problems and was seeking to land in Sylacauga when it crashed before reaching the runway. The plane ended up crashing deep into the woods where first responders found the 80-year-old pilot alive with injuries. He had to be airlifted to UAB Hospital. The plane was flying from Florida to Kentucky. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number 1 in the number 2 business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Do you have real estate problems? Whether you're facing foreclosure, inherited a property, or have costly repairs, we understand. At Rapid Fire Home Buyers, we're here to help. Any condition, any situation, we'll give you an honest cash offer for your home so you can move forward. Because when real estate problems cause you uncertainty, you deserve a solution you can trust. Any condition, any situation, we're here to help. Give Rapid Fire Home Buyers a call today at 334-675-1000. That's 334-675-1000.
Since 1966, Alabama Sheriff's Youth Ranches has been more than just a place to stay. It's been a place to belong. For children facing hardships through no fault of their own, our ranches provide more than shelter. We offer a warm home, a loving family, and a future filled with hope. With open arms, we welcome these young hearts, giving them the love, structure, and guidance they need to heal, grow, and thrive in a warm Christian environment. Together, we can give Alabama's children the chance they deserve, a chance to dream, to succeed, and to feel truly cherished. Every donation stays within Alabama, directly impacting the lives of the children who need it most. Join us in making a difference. Visit alabamasheriffsyouthranches.org. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram, and download our app from your app store. We'd be honored to have you as a part of our mission to lift up Alabama's youth. And remember this, it's easier to build boys and girls than to repair men and women.
Join us tomorrow from 11:30 to 12:30 at Amy's Antiques, 849 Northeastern Boulevard for our Paw It Forward Pet Drive. Drop off your pet shelter supplies to help the River Region Humane Societies.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers.
It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Joining us now, as he does on Thursdays, we have him over the phone this week. We have the one, the only Jeff Dice, former Chief of Staff to Ron Paul, president of the Mises Institute for about a decade, now with Monetary Metals. Jeff, how you doing this afternoon?
Joey, good afternoon. During the break, I heard the radio spot for the Alabama Sheriff's Youth Ranch.
Yeah.
And I would just like to second their call for donations. There's one not too far north here of Auburn where I live, which is actually the Girls Ranch. And I have toured the facility and participated in fundraising for them. And they really do take kids out of, let's say, a foster situation and put them in a group setting. And I think it's just the kind of thing that is way better than a taxpayer-funded government program. I support it 100%.
Hear, hear. Yeah, and I think more and more of that. I'm on one of those kicks. I was writing about the bloody weekend in Montgomery. My op-ed this week was about that. And I always come back to when I see really heinous crime stories and issues. Yeah, you can talk about policing policy. You can talk about what your elected officials are doing. I think a lot of these are just, they start at home. And it's really a shame sometimes when kids don't even have that opportunity to begin with. And, God forbid they make the worst mistakes. But at times I wonder, are we missing that the really good part of life, the marrow of life, is the personal side of things and your own things that you're empowered to actually change instead of, who we voted for and them breaking their promises or something.
Well, it's true. And on the personal level, politics tends to fall away. And we deal with one another as human beings and hopefully as charitable human beings. So that's, I think, very, very important. But the ad for the youth ranch mentioned that it's easier to develop a child than to fix an adult. And as you mentioned, given the violence which seems to be ongoing in downtown, or in certain areas of Montgomery, these are young adults, but nonetheless, they're on a very bad path. So I think that's true. It's better to get to young people when they're young and hopefully get them on the right path and show them that there's reason to be positive in life. And, I really feel like our major cities in Alabama are failing. Yeah. And that's not something that we can just put off on other people. It's a small state. There's about 5 million of us, and I think we all bear a little bit of responsibility. And you know what? I talk to people, a lot of young people, about housing, about getting a family started, about how expensive everything is, about how hard it is to find a husband or wife and all this and that. And I just wish that we could put our heads together and come up with some ways to sell Montgomery and Birmingham to these young people all across the country, because they're both just underdeveloped gems. They both have incredible history. They both have beautiful buildings, or at least the bones of beautiful buildings. But we can't have, all this violence and unemployment and poverty. I mean, it's just not working. And there's still something to those cities that I think could be resuscitated.
Yeah, we were just talking to city councilman here, and that's what we leaned into, at least for our conversation today, is there really is a lot of opportunity. He's laying down roots, though. I guess he was born and raised in Boston, and he described how it's easier to be an entrepreneur here, the cost of living, there's so much opportunity to have folks can jump at it. And then if you can get a change of heart, I've been describing it as, say, a wayward son subculture. It's not, the vast majority of people are generally doing the right things, but there is a wayward son culture that is, it's kind of a kill or be killed mentality. And in some ways it's sort of a self-imposed prison. And honestly, I don't know how to shake that. You can maybe try to inspire people, or somebody in that kid's own life sets them on the right track, but it's really just one thing at a time. It's not one of these easy solutions of like, hey, we passed a new law.
No, it's not that easy. It's a cultural thing. And what politics ought to do is set the stage for the right culture. That's all politics can do. And in order to do so, you have to basically employ tough love. You have to take away this welfare state, and you have to force people to rise to the level of their environment. And that's what we're not doing. We're excusing people, and we're allowing, even at the, elementary, junior high level, we're allowing this sort of rampant criminality and this lack of achievement, lack of basic math and reading and writing skills. And as long as your own life is pretty comfortable, it's easy to look at that with a little bit of distance and say, oh, that's too bad. These kids are not learning. But it's going to come and bite all of us on the ass if we don't do something about it. And why not start right here in our little state of 5 million people?
Hear, hear. Now, you're telling me off air, and I share this feeling. It comes and goes, of how exhausting the political wins can be, in particular the hypocrisy of the political process. What's got you feeling that these days?
It's wearying, isn't it? If you pay much attention to politics, if you follow social media. I admit that I do follow Twitter. That's my one vice in life. And that probably gives me more Trump news than I need, to be frank. And I was watching an interview the other night with Tucker Carlson. His guest was a gentleman named Walter Kirn, Kirn. I'm not familiar with him. Apparently he is an essayist and a fiction writer. They were just talking about how nakedly hypocritical all of our national politics are. People just turn on a dime. And we've seen this with the Epstein business, with Dan Bongino and the people on the right. And we're seeing it with Elon Musk, which is almost hilarious since he's had his little break with Trump, their bromance or whatever you want to call it. All of a sudden the left is remembering, hey, Elon's not such a bad guy after all. Remember, he likes those electric cars. We kind of like those things. They were part of the Green New Deal, right? Everyone should have a Tesla again instead of spray painting a swastika on the side of it. So it's just, the idea that we have short memories is just, it's funny, but it's also a little dispiriting sometimes.
It really is. And I just want a consistent play going forward. Now, one thing, just because I could wallow in that topic, I want to shift a little bit to something I saw you tweeting about, because I also have that vice of being on X way too much. But I think Britain just lowered the voting age to 16 or something like that. That's
my goodness.
Madness.
Well, there's no question that people are maturing later. That's just absolutely unquestionable, except for physically, unfortunately. But in every other way, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, there's no question about this. In part, that's understandable because our lifetimes are so much longer today than they were, let's say, in our grandparents' generation. Our life expectancy could well be 85, 90, 95 for a lot of us, depending on our circumstances. And so it kind of makes sense that you're not at the same stage at 15 or 20 or 25 if you're going to live to 90. So I can understand it, but the flip side of that is that voting is not something to be taken lightly. And you go back to the colonial period in America, when the Constitution was written, a 21-year-old, Joey, was like a 40-year-old today.
Right.
I mean, they were married, they had property, they were engaged in civic life. There are lots and lots of young people today who are pretty lost and have failed to launch and might be living at home through no fault of their own or through some fault of their own. And it's just, I think the UK is absolutely insane to lower the voting age, because when I think of myself at 16 or even 18, I really had no business voting.
Yeah, I think back to that first cycle. My first election at 18 was Barack Obama in 2008. I had an uncle, conservative, get to me, and I voted for John McCain. And I'm like, man, I wish I'd go back in time and say, stay home, you dope. But it's like, aren't the voters gullible enough as is? We got to get teenagers involved in this. And it just seems like it's a vote bank sort of idea. We can just get all these kids in the high schools we already control to go out and vote for our preferred candidate.
Oh, no question. I was reading a statistic the other day that something like 70% of U.S. K through 12 teachers are female. So that's just an enormous, totally out of balance. And they absolutely, especially public school teachers, run overwhelmingly left Democrat. So you can just imagine the environment that young people are growing up in and being indoctrinated by these teachers. And, it's just something where, again, we fail, or we're afraid to impose tough love on people. We know that these young people are not capable. We know they're not ready for this sort of thing. And instead of telling them the harsh truth, which is that you have to work harder, more needs to be expected of you, and you just need to take on more responsibility, have less fun, less partying, be more serious, study harder, work harder. I mean, nobody wants to hear these things. Eat less junk food, drink less, vape less, whatever it might be. Maybe even have less Zyn in your gum. And nobody wants to hear this stuff. And so instead we coddle people and try to couch it in the guise of equality, or we try to couch it in the guise of democracy. Oh, look at this. We're expanding democracy. We're giving 16-year-olds the vote. It's just absolutely crazy.
I think it's a fantastic point, but I'm so addicted. I use the On brand. I'm going to put in another little lip pillow here. Excuse me for a second. Are you big on this? Do you buy this whole nicotine's good for you kick?
Well, a lot of people have thought that for a long time. It was that nicotine, at least in small doses, was somewhat salutary in its effects. It's a stimulant, which helps the brain's alertness in the morning, the same way caffeine does. It's that the idea was that the smoke from the tobacco which you're inhaling, that's what's bad for you. That's giving you lung cancer or whatever it is. It's not the nicotine. The problem with the nicotine, of course, is that it has an addictive quality in the same way that caffeine does. And so you're getting addicted and you're drawing in all this smoke. So I don't know a lot about these new pouches, but I swear, Joey, every time I go to the convenience store, they're just everywhere. I mean, there's 25 brands and all these flavors. It seems to be a huge thing.
Oh, and also, it's just like I'm a walking billboard for that demographic. Like, let me take a sip of a Red Bull real quick. Hold on. I think it's also just doing talk radio. Always have the nicotine, always have the caffeine going. One thing that I find interesting that you were tweeting about earlier in the week, and it made me think back to President Trump doing a big commencement speech at the University of Alabama. Why this constant effort? You see Chris Rufo do this, and it's always entertaining to watch like Yarvin and Chris Rufo spar online. But it's always about reforming the Ivy League, reforming the elite prestige institutions. Well, why can't Auburn or the University of Alabama or anywhere else, say somewhere in the South, be a true prestige institution? Why do we even need the Ivy League?
Well, we don't. And their graduates are responsible for a significant portion of the mischief in this world. Everywhere you go to the Fed, you go to the Treasury, you go to the Pentagon, you'll swing a cat and you'll hit some Harvard grad. It's really unfortunate because the concept behind elite universities, of course, is all well and good. We ought to be able to identify from a pretty young age the really stellar, brilliant young people and allow them to go develop and be brilliant young people at college and maybe have a higher standard for them than your average kid just going to State U and majoring in business. There'd be nothing wrong with that in theory, but in practice, of course, the Ivies have simply become havens for all kinds of absolutely nonsensical ideological campaigns. They have become havens for the professional class of academics that we can't get rid of, that don't seem to like the West very much and cause all kinds of problems. And then their graduates go out and fill the ranks of Goldman Sachs and the CIA and Silicon Valley, and tend to muck about and get us into trouble. So I'll tell you what, and I know Warren Buffett was famous for saying this, but he always wanted a graduate from Oklahoma State or Wichita in Kansas or something like that, because he felt that on net their overall attitude and more than made up for maybe any lack of IQ horsepower.
Yeah, and then sometimes I wonder and worry that our government's brain, the academe, is just like, we need a new brain. We need a complete brain transplant because it's just not getting the job done. And honestly, I'm a bit biased because I just don't have the temperament for academia. I don't think I have the attention span at times, or I'm like, get to the point already. I can remember being back at Auburn. It's all coming back to me now. But maybe that's where America does a little better. Like, you need that academic excellence. You need that ability to think through things in an adept way. But I almost think I would lean into the tinkerers of this world, that great innovations, great breakthroughs are not, necessarily at research facilities. There might be just some guy working in his garage who's a free American. He's got the ability to finance an idea, and we're off to the races.
Well, it's so true. And it goes back to our earlier point when we were talking about trying to clean up crime in education, maybe Montgomery, or get people to move to Birmingham, whatever it might be. I mean, it always goes back to incentives. What are the incentives? We know that the incentives for academia are all screwed up. The incentive is to get tenure. And then once you have tenure, you're pretty much unfireable, and you can start being a lot less productive. And you can start, writing and speaking crazy things and not teaching very much and not really caring about students very much. And it just becomes a mess. And so, when you have an incentive, a profit motive, or maybe just some sort of individual drive. In, that's how basically Silicon Valley started. If you go, look at the early story of Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak, they were in the garage, they were thinkers, and they thought that they could build what at the time was a crazy idea of a personal computer. Computers were giant mainframes, these room-sized, Volkswagen buses at IBM or something. So I think your point is well taken. Academia is not serving us very well. It's bloated beyond all scale, and that goes back to this idea that I think Charles Murray, who wrote the book Losing Ground and the Bell Curve, basically said we've expanded college too much. It'll be maybe the top 10 or 15% of high school kids who develop show an aptitude for this should even go to undergrad.
Right.
And only a tiny fraction of them should then go on to, let's say, graduate school or a PhD. So I think we've got way too many people in college and way too few people out there developing actual stuff, goods and services that we need.
Now, before I let you go, I guess I'm obligated. I'm asking everybody about, at this point in this whole turnabout with the Trump administration and Jeffrey Epstein, I'm not even like mad or disappointed or anything like that. I'm more like, what's behind the curtain? It seems like the darndest thing. And I know there are a lot of competing theories, and I think they're just that, theories. But this seems like a very strange moment where I don't think Republicans or the MAGA base is going to leave him over this. But say the coalition he built in 24, a lot of folks are just going out, more of the same crap. There is some untouchable elite.
Well, yes. And our political class in this country is sexually depraved and engages in sexual activity that's just probably would be unbelievable to average folks. And so you won't see the Clintons, you won't see the Bidens, you won't see the Obamas, you won't see any of these people seize on this to attack Trump and demand that, a full investigation into Epstein and what's going on with Ghislaine Maxwell and release the names and let's get to the bottom of what happened on that island. They won't do any of that for a very simple reason. It's because there's just as many Democrats on those lists as Republicans. What? And of course, Trump himself is implicated and was a friend of Epstein's back in the 70s and 80s club days in New York. So this is both sides, and it's just kind of a bizarre indictment of wealthy elites in the political class in this country, that not only do they live by different rules when it comes to government and taxes and investment and all these kind of things, they also live by different rules when it comes to sexual morality, and they basically think that they ought to be above these petty or bourgeois norms, and so they go out and they do it. So I think it's probably all more mundane than you think. It's probably not a big conspiracy or cover-up. It's probably simply that Epstein was a connected guy and a wealthy guy, and took a lot of people down, on sexual trips.
Yeah, and I'm just wondering, what is that about power where you end up with the sexual depravity? I watched some of the George Santos with Tucker, which was a hilarious interview. I don't know how much to necessarily believe from that guy, but it's some of it did come across as believable, that when people get up into Washington, D.C., I know you spent some time up there in the halls of Congress. You've probably heard stories. Like, I just wonder, what is it just that goes hand in hand with power, the whole corruption thing?
I think that's it. I think it just touches every aspect of human conduct. And so part of the idea behind becoming an elite, of course, is that you don't have to follow these rules and you get to indulge yourself.
Yeah, maybe. I think you're right. I think it is just that simple. And, folks, that's the thing. When you finally get a peek behind the curtain, you're like, this is a very small person indeed. Well, I always appreciate your time, Jeff. If folks want to check out what you're writing about, think about, how can they do so?
Well, they can check out Monetary Metals, our podcast on YouTube. I'm usually doing a weekly podcast over there on financial topics and what's happening in the markets. And they can follow me on Twitter at Jeff Deist.
Appreciate it as always. Talk again soon.
Thank you.
Again, folks, Jeff Deist. Always enjoy having him on to kick around ideas. Doesn't always have to be the most topical thing in the news either. 272-9228 if you want to get in on the conversation. This part of the program brought to you by Pest Pro Services. And their Pest Pro, Ashley and that fantastic team are ready to help you with any and all of your pest control needs. Get on their monthly subscription service. This is a great way to have controlled expected cost for your pest control needs. Treat it like, it's a water bill, something like that. You starts with basic pest control protection. Then you can add to that plan, say, termite inspection and year-round protection. They do an inspection every year. They have year-round protection there. Of course, you can add to that tick and flea treatments. Say you don't want those dogs that you love so much, or maybe you got outdoor cats, bringing all that stuff in, and maybe you need the yard treated for fire ants. And of course, they also can take care of any mosquito problem you might be having trouble with. Instead of buying all these, lesser solutions that don't really solve the problem at all, you can hardly call them solutions. Why not get a true solution there with Pest Pro services? It works, number one. And it's not like they just do it once. No, they get you on a regular plan so you can actually enjoy your property, enjoy the backyard, enjoy the pool, enjoy the front porch without being eaten up by those nasty skeeters. So y'all check out Pest Pro services today. You can always learn more at ppsriverregion.com or give them a call. It's 265-9990. That's 265-9990. When you want to know, call a pro. Pest Pro services. And be sure to tell Ashley and that team that Joey, that fellow on the radio, sent you.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Your home's first impression starts outside, and Gateway Exterior Cleaning, Lawn, and Landscaping is here to make it unforgettable. From spotless windows and power wash driveways to house washing and roof cleaning as well as landscaping, they do it all. Residential or commercial, they've got you covered. Call Gateway Exterior Cleaning, Lawn, and Landscaping or visit gatewayexteriorcleaning.com for a free estimate. They offer 0% financing, 3 to 24 months for flexible payments, and a 15% discount for first-time customers. Gateway Exterior Cleaning is your gateway to a cleaner, brighter home or business. Call today at 334-467-5480.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com. This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Do you have real estate problems? Whether you're facing foreclosure, inherited a property, or have costly repairs, we understand. At Rapid Fire Homebuyers, we're here to help. Any condition, any situation, we'll give you an honest cash offer for your home so you can move forward. Because when real estate problems cause you uncertainty, you deserve a solution you can trust. Any condition, any situation, we're here to help. Give Rapid Fire Homebuyers a call today at 334-675-1000. That's 334-675-1000.
Hey, this is Ray Bowles of Prattville Carpet. And since we've been advertising on Blue Water, our sales have increased dramatically. Blue Water has a large listening audience that is very faithful to their advertisers, and we greatly appreciate that. If you're thinking about advertising for your business, I would highly recommend Blue Water.
Radio reaches over 90% of everyone in the river region. Shouldn't your ads be out there where your customers are? Call us to find out more. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks helping local business.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network is brought to you by Earnest Financial.
If you're tired of losing your money in the stock market, call David Earnest, 334-279-7431. Earnest Financial, LLC.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. Our weather app will keep you on top of the action with radar and future radar today as we track some storms moving across the area, especially in the afternoon and evening hours. A little more plentiful today and tomorrow. Otherwise, the sun and cloud mix, very hot with highs in the low to mid-90s, triple-digit heat indices again, lows at night in the muggy mid-70s, and not much change over the weekend. More scattered, random afternoon and evening storms around. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
You can make your ASE loan payment from your phone anytime, anywhere. It's quick and easy. YourASECreditUnion.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal Opportunity Lender.
ASE Credit Union. Your life, your goals, your ASE.
The River Region's News Talk Station. News Talk 93.1. WACV. News Talk 93.1.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Two 272-9228 if you want to get it on the conversation. Well, apparently Donald Trump has been diagnosed with a benign condition that is making his legs swell. While I was busy doing the other parts of the show, talking to Andrew Szymanski, talking to Jeff Deist, apparently that was just dropped, that Trump has some condition known to folks of a certain age, over 70, and it's not serious, they're claiming. But I think there's maybe something that they just wanted to put out there. Always enjoy the intrigue, all that palace intrigue. But yeah, Trump's got legs that are swelling a little bit or something to that effect. Again, 272-9228 if you want to get in on the conversation. Now, the Trump administration sues to remove 3 former board members of NPR PBS parent group who refused to leave. So not only is the Trump administration removing funding through the rescission package, in fact, you had Senator Britt joining Will Cain on Fox News to discuss her support of that. She voted for the $9 billion cut that included funds to things like NPR. But the Justice Department has now filed a legal complaint Tuesday against 3 former board members of the Corporation for Public Broadcasting who have refused to leave their positions after being removed by President Trump. So he removed them officially, but they just won't leave the room or something? The complaint filed in federal court in Washington, D.C. targets Laura Ross, Diane Kaplan, and Tom Rothman. The DOJ argues that Trump lawfully terminated the 3 and is now seeking a court order to formally remove them. Subjects of this complaint have continued to operate in office despite their removal and subsequent failure to obtain legal relief protecting their old positions, the department said in a statement. This litigation reflects the department's ongoing commitment to protecting the president's core Article 2 powers, which include the authority to make personnel decisions regarding those occupying federal offices. The DOJ is also seeking to have the former board members refund any compensation they received after their removal. The lawsuit escalates a growing dispute between the Trump administration and the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, which administers more than $500 million annually in federal funds to organizations such as the Public Broadcasting Service and National Public Radio. In May, Trump signed an executive order to end public subsidies to both PBS and NPR following criticisms that the outlets display left-wing bias. Yes, I mean, obviously, it seems fairly apparent that NPR and PBS are bastions of the libs. And I think the libs like it that way. But as soon as they're called out for it, no, we're not biased at all. What are these crazy MAGA people talking about? We're not biased at all. Well, I want to go to a little thread here. It was put together by Senator John Kennedy of Louisiana. And it first starts off with some lady, the PBS president and CEO Paula Kerger on CNN, saying people often struggle to come up with examples of where we are biased. Here, let's listen to the woman herself.
I asked them for examples. People often struggle to come up with examples of what really they're talking about. I asked them for examples.
Yeah.
People often struggle to come up with examples of what really they're talking about.
Okay, so John Kennedy took it upon himself to give a bunch of examples. He did this, I believe, from the well of the Senate, from the Senate floor. Let's listen in to the senator from Louisiana.
Here's another one. This came from Louisiana Public Broadcasting. Becoming Papa, father's key to gender justice. I can tell you that every mom and dad in Louisiana, when they lie down to sleep at night, and they can't, they're lying there worried about gender justice. Not.
Not.
I mean, the article, the title of the article suggests what you ought to believe. That's not fair or balanced. Here's another one. Transgender athletes seek protections to play sport.
So, Kennedy, that's just one example he gave. There's others that he was throwing up there. Let's listen to this.
Here are a couple that you saw on that you saw on television, PBS, paid for with your tax dollars. First headline, talking to young children about race and racism. Another headline, how America's history of racism connects to divisions today. Another headline from PBS, the hidden racism of young white Americans. Your tax dollars. Another headline, AP fact check, Trump seeds race animus with COVID falsehood. Another headline, Biden trumpets economic gains but struggles to get credit. Another headline from PBS, the other Olympians, transgender athletes in the Nazi area.
Area?
Come on.
So Kennedy laying it out, and I don't think he stopped there. He kept going. He was annoyed with all this. Like, oh, I can't come with examples. I got example after example after example.
Here's more. Democracy on Trial, Part 1. A blueprint for the case against Trump. Is that fair and balanced? It's from PBS. Racism in the era of Trump, an oral history, another headline. January 13th, 2020. Another. This one's really special. A serial liar. How Sarah Palin ushered in the post-truth political era in which Trump has thrived.
So there's example after example after example. Stuff's not hard to find. But it is amazing that folks like, no, I'm entitled to this job. I'm entitled to these tax dollars. I'm entitled. No, you're not. The people have voted. They voted in their senators. They voted in the president. And it wasn't just Trump's executive order. You now have senators who voted for finally the first DOJ rescission, a measly $9 billion. I don't think that's very much. I would like to see a $100 billion rescission package. That will really get me excited. But one who voted for the rescission package was United States Senator Katie Britt. She joined Will Cain, one of the young guns there, still hanging out at Fox News. So let's listen in, see what the senator and Will Cain had to say to one another.
Now, with Alabama Senator Katie Britt, who joins us. Senator, great to have you here on the program. You can probably hear a bit of my frustration today as you guys are set to vote on whether or not you can stomach $9 billion in spending cuts, rescissions package. It's already been whittled down from 9.4 because that $400 million is incredibly important. But how do you explain what's going on with your Republican colleagues?
Look, we have to answer the call of the American people. They know that spending is out of control. Donald Trump has found some of the most egregious things out there, packaged that together and said, let's get started. Now is the time to act. I want to say that Senator Eric Schmitt has done a remarkable job building consensus within the Republican delegation, if you will, and now is the time to move it across the finish line. You mentioned your frustration with a vote-a-rama. What we see right now, we are incredibly frustrated. Let's get moving on this. We see the Democrats use delay tactic after delay tactic. Will, whether it's here on cutting spending, which we know is necessary to preserve our nation wholeheartedly, or it's even President Trump's nominees. They're using every single tactic to try to stop him from enacting the will of the American people. Look, we talked about this over and over again. We talked about DOJ. We talked about what that would mean. I mean, before the election, the American people want to see these changes. And look, if we can't do $9 billion, goodness gracious, American people deserve better. And that's what the Republican conference is going to work to give them today.
And that's the real question, Senator. And look, I don't want to put you in a position where you can't maintain collegiality with people that you need to have collegiality with in your body. However, I'm looking at a majority leader, a former majority leader, not John Thune, but Mitch McConnell, who used to require everyone to be on the same team, to go along for the team. And now that he's not the leader anymore, he has no interest in being part of the team. So I would ask them, any of those three senators, Collins, Murkowski, McConnell, if you can't cut $9 billion, what can you cut? What would you be interested in cutting?
Yeah, and let's talk about what this money is. Look, I serve the people of Alabama. And let me tell you something, when they work hard and they send their tax dollars up here, we need to take a step back. This is not our money. This is the money of hard-working Americans. And never did they want it going to fund sex workers in Nepal. Never did they want it to go into increased diversity in the lighting community in Mexico. I mean, this is absolutely absurd. This is a common sense approach. This money was way outside the mission of what it was intended for. We've got to rein that in. We have to cement our values and our opportunity for our people. To your point, this is the easy stuff. And the American people deserve better. This is their money, Will. This is not ours. And we need to treat it like such. And we've got to be more responsible. Period. The end.
Well, I like that. Appreciate her and Tuberville actually voting for this. I want to see another one. Cut some more. There's more waste out there. Now, I'm just seeing this breaking at 1819news.com that Senator Britt put out a statement saying the American public should get transparent, credible answers related to the late Jeffrey Epstein. Britt, during the Senate Appropriations Committee markup of the Commerce, Justice, Science, and Related Agencies Appropriation Act for fiscal year 2026 last week, supported a unanimously adopted amendment that would ensure the DOJ releases everything the department has on the Epstein case to members of Congress. Some in President Donald Trump's base have criticized Trump, of course, and his administration for not releasing more information. Here's the quote that Senator Britt gave to 1819 News. Jeffrey Epstein was a sexual predator, full stop. She goes on to say the abuses of his victims, especially children, are despicable. This is why I supported an amendment in the Senate Appropriations Committee adopted last week to ensure the DOJ releases everything the department has on the Epstein case. It's crucial that, while protecting the privacy rights of victims, the American public get transparent, credible answers. President Trump and his administration are committed to that goal. Well, are they? Because it shouldn't take a vote of Congress. It shouldn't be, the talk of the town. Shouldn't be jokes being made on the Espys by Shane Gillis. They should have already done it already if they're already committed to it. I appreciate the senator being committed to it. I do wonder how long does this last? Because it's very quick that we, just not too long ago, we're talking about war with Iran and all this stuff. And then that's tied up, or at least a lid is put on it for the time being. This is not going away. And again, Trump is not losing his faithful base. They get it. They're with the guy. They're ride or die with Trump. But when you head into the midterms, I don't care how rosy the polling is right now, you're going to need more than just Republicans to really get the majorities to affect actual profound, deep change. If you're so frustrated with people like Murkowski and Collins and McConnell and so many other holdouts in the House of Representatives, it means you need a bigger majority. And one way you get that is that you appeal to folks on the large issues that are in the public mind, and in particular in the populist mind. And this is one of those issues that has long animated the populist sentiment that's out there. Need the answers. Telling us there's nothing there is not necessarily the move. And again, I have a sense this is not going away anytime soon. And it's not necessarily because the Democrats and whatever the corporate press are milking it. It has a lot more to do with folks that trusted Trump, who maybe still trust Trump, but they want to see him act true to character to the guy we know. 272-9228. Again, if you want to get in on the conversation, this part of the program brought to you by Josh and Leslie Ryder there at Dillon Rings. And at Dillon Rings, they are a full-service jewelry shop. Now, think about it. Say you got a favorite piece of jewelry. You've been wearing it every day for years, and it now looks like it. It looks like you wear it every day. It looks a little worn out, a little beaten down. Well, it can shine and shimmer like it's brand new again. Just go get a spa treatment at Dillon Rings. Pretty quick process, and it looks absolutely beautiful, like the first day you fell in love with that piece of jewelry. Now, of course, they can do repair work, custom design work, second to none. Josh is a true artist, really is the best. Leslie puts together a great inventory from high-end jewelry items to everyday items that still look great but don't break the bank necessarily. They also will buy old jewelry off you that you just got sitting around in the drawer, gold, silver, platinum. They'll buy it off you. They can do appraisals as well. Don't forget, gentlemen, they can do watch repairs and battery replacement on that favorite watch of yours. The point is they can do it all. Go check them out today. That's 119 Brown Springs Road here in Montgomery. That's just off of Atlanta Highway, like you're going into the back end entrance to AUM. And be sure to tell Josh and Leslie that Joey, that fella on the radio, sent you.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Epicure and Jack's Tavern, a family-owned and operated treasure, invites you to break the chains and eat local. With decades of tradition, they bring you meals prepared with locally sourced ingredients. Because here, you're not just a customer, you're part of the family.
Experience the best house-aged and hand-cut steaks in the area at Epicure and Jack's Tavern. Each steak is a masterpiece, aged and cut in-house to ensure the highest quality. Join them for a steak that will elevate your dining experience.
Hi, this is Carl Schmidt, naturopath and owner of the Herb Shop. Listen every Saturday to Winning Wellness and learn from experts in different fields of science and technology how nutritional supplements can help you.
Listen to Winning Wellness every Saturday at 10 a.m.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Live local talk. The River Region's only 24-hour News Talk FM station. News Talk 93.1 FM WATD.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Let's go right to the phones. Close out the show with Ray Bowles from Prattville Carpet. Hey, Ray, how you doing?
Good. Man, I've enjoyed listening to you today. I've been in the truck running around here, measuring this, measuring that. Well, I did go to one house to measure. It took like 10 minutes to get it measured up. And I said, hey, come by the store, then we can tell you exactly what you're looking at for each product that you pick out. And she said, man, that was fast. I said, no, it wasn't that. I mean, it was maybe 10, 15 minutes. She said, no, you don't understand. I had a big box store come by. 4 hours in trying to measure this house. I finally said, stop, just leave. Please get out of my house. I said, well, that was your first mistake. You should have never called a big box store to do something like that. So the moral of the story is if you don't have 4 hours to waste for somebody to measure your house, call Prattville Carpet. We'll do it about 10, 15 minutes. We're in and out fast. And then you come by the store and pick everything out.
It really is a simple process, pretty easy process, folks. They're easy, great local folks to work with. And that number's still 285-8117.
It is. 285-8117. We'll come out and give you that free measurement. Next thing you know, you got a new floor down. Just that simple.
Yeah, I'm glad you got to listen to me on a day where I feel like I'm in a good mood today. I'm not too cranky.
You've done very good. It's just I hate it's coming to an end.
Well, tomorrow I'm doing a 6-hour show. Filling in for Greg.
I'm not listening. Yeah, I'm not going to be in my car for 6 hours. I love you, no. Not going to happen.
No, that's fair. I don't think I can stand me for 6 hours.
Hey, have a good afternoon.
Appreciate it. The quote is Royal Badness so funky I can't even sleep with myself. 272-9228. Pamela is in the studio. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm all right. Life is all right.
Where does Eddie sit over here?
Yeah, every day I'm a little annoyed. It's like, center yourself on the camera, good sir.
Right. At the corner of the desk is right here. It's weird.
Yeah, that is. No, that's not where he sits. He usually sits more over that way.
Oh, what?
And then we have to tilt it this way.
I don't get it.
Yeah. Anyway, like, I guess we don't have to go into it on air, but like, you're not going to be here tomorrow when we do the 6-hour extravaganza.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm gonna miss the boys' party.
Now, did you see that Trump has like legs that are swelling?
This can't be a shock to anyone. He's old.
Right. Yeah.
As hell.
Right.
Anybody who's had grandparents knows like your veins get weak.
Swelling legs, though. Is that like being a little overweight too while being old, or is that just an old person?
He's just a big old guy.
He is a big dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. They say it's benign. It's just kind of a normal thing.
It's probably not comfortable for him. But yeah, it's
especially the hours that guy works.
Right. It's just one of those things.
Yeah, and I won't ask about the Epstein thing. One thing I've been enjoying is, did you see the Shane Gillis opening monologue?
Espys, yes.
Oh, it was fantastic.
Yeah, that was all over my TikTok. As soon as I got up this morning, I enjoyed that.
He nailed it. Even the stuff that like
funny.
The crowd groaned at, I'm sitting there laughing my tail
I know
off.
they take themselves too seriously. That's what it is. They're just like.
I bet I could find some real quick here. Some of the just quick jokes, like my favorite by far, because I watched
Matt's wife. Yes,
because I watched their podcast, so I know all the little inside stuff.
Yep.
And it's so funny that they did like a joke that messes with the entire crowd and calls them out on being so.
Yeah, he's like, y'all clap for that.
Holier than thou. It's just a hilarious, fantastic moment. Yeah, here it is. Let me share it up on the stream for folks. And the whole 9 minutes, 10 minutes was, I thought, a masterclass and going into a pretty awkward situation and coming out of it. And the hat tip to Norm Macdonald at the end was fantastic. But here's the WNBA joke, one of them.
Four-time WNBA All-Star Brittany Hicks is here. Give it up for Brittany, everybody. I'm joking around. That's my friend's wife. I knew none of you knew WNBA players. That's crazy. You clap for that.
Yeah. Oh, it's too good.
Yeah, and I mean, he kept going, like, and I love that he leaned into the jokes where people are like, wait, can you say that? Are you allowed to say that?
Yeah, it's comedy.
Yeah, we're allowed to say that. And
relax.
It's amazing that ABC's letting stuff like that out, like this.
When Caitlin Clark retires from the WNBA, she's going to work at a Waffle House so she can continue doing what she loves most, fist fighting black women. When Caitlin...
just laugh at it, people.
I love the shot of Drewski there, too.
I know.
Like... It was a good time, and I know there are some folks who are like, what is this? No, I thought it was fantastic.
No, it's somebody actually enjoying life and just relaxing.
Yeah, actually sending things up and, not getting too all up in his feelings about certain things. I freaking love this guy.
Yeah, I could watch him all the time. He's funny. Did you see where he was on? I don't think it was his podcast. No, I know it wasn't his. On somebody else's, and then he's talking about Trump and how he'll tweet something out in the middle of the night and he'll lose him for a few weeks and then he'll tweet something out and he's like, oh yeah, or like the Iran and Israel thing, they don't know what the F they're doing, and he's like, yeah, that's my Trump.
Yeah.
Well, and then he'll lose him again over something else.
Right. It's like, what happened to you, man? What happened to you? Here's one that I love the joke, even though I don't know if the audience loved this one that much.
Pitcher, hitter, and bookie.
Oh.
A bookie is what Bill Belichick reads to his girlfriend before bedtime.
Oh, yes.
They do. They read The Very Horny Caterpillar. A little engine that could, but needed a pill first. And of course, the classic Goodnight Boobs. That's my favorite one. Also, I'm not trashing Bill Belichick. First off, he's 73 years old and he's dating a hot 24-year-old, and people are criticizing him. What happened to this country? It used to be a great country. He won 6 Super Bowls. Yeah, he's dating a hot 24-year-old. Maybe if you guys won 6 Super Bowls, you wouldn't be sitting next to a fat, ugly dog wife.
Oh, gosh.
Disney, they allowed that. Yeah, I'm going to tell you a story. I was at we should have taken that out. I had doubts going into that. That didn't work all week.
It's fantastic, though. And maybe it's a change in even the corporates are realizing, we got to change with the times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Well,
chill out.
Well, folks, y'all stay tuned. Pamela with Greg. Or is it Greg with Pamela? It's happy hour. That's what it is.
Happy hour.
They're next.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. Fresh off